Hello, hello. I'm back. How are y'all doing this evening? It's kind of late, but hey, I'm awake. So, thank y'all for coming. Hit the like button as you come in. Appreciate it. I'm going to be talking about a few things on this video. So many people have asked me, is something code? Is what's going on in the world and the news? Is it code? Is this code? Is that code? Everything is code. So now what? Like, now that you know everything is code, now what? What are you gonna do? I think now that we know everything is code and messages are being sent through the code, did you get the message? It's like, okay, we got the code, we know what they're saying. They're saying the same thing over and over and over and over. So what do we do now? Either we understand the message, create the message again in some type of form. If we agree with the message or don't agree with the message, we need to figure that out. And we also need to figure out how many other people are ever going to get to the point where they can decode and see the same things. And how many people can actually do this on the planet. I know it's a good amount, but it's not a high enough amount. Thank you, ASMR Sending. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You changed my life, Ashira. Thank you so much for everything. People can't trick me now. Yay. That's great. So that's right. T says, I'm going to focus on what I want, creating it inspire of and learn the codes. Okay, yeah. After we learn all of this stuff, okay, so let's say we learn how to decode everything, we see the code and everything, great. We got the message. Now that we know all of that, either we act towards it or just understand it and manifest and live the life we want to live, period. Because there's not really much to do after you can decode pretty much most things. Thank you, T. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So I appreciate that. So now that we understand all this code, we can move forward and realize who we are, manifest what we want, reclaim our true power, and just live and be, be what we're supposed to be. That's the only thing I can do afterwards because there's nothing else to do. People were asking me about the shooting of Jacob, and they were already decoding it for me. I didn't even get a chance to look at it to decode it. Y'all were coming to me decoding it for me. I'm like, well, that's wonderful that you see the code. That's great. Now what? Do I believe the Messiah is here? I believe that there is no thee. There's always been, and they've never left. I believe they're an entire group of people, and they've never left the planet. There you go. So the Jacob shooting, I know people are very sensitive about that. So that's why I try to wait a day or two. But y'all came to me the day of in my Instagram DMs. Y'all all in my Instagram DMs. Was it coded? Because I decoded this and I decoded that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it is coded. So I guess some of y'all are ready. I'll just repeat it and you'll decode it for yourself. I'll just tell you guys what happened. Okay, you have a Black man with a van full of kids. The police are after him because he stepped outside of the van, but he has 3 kids in the van. And they're trying to stop him. They can't stop him until he reaches the van and he opens the door and tries to get in. That's when he gets shot 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When he tries to get in the van. And someone came in my inbox and they were like, well, Jacob reminds me of Jacob's ladder. The 7 shots remind me of the 7 chakras. And was this a ritual killing? And I'm like, maybe. But then I was like, well, he had a van full of kids. And that's when, they took him out because the kids represent something else. And the police represent something else in the spiritual realm. And the black man represents the black man. But if he's trying to give 3 kids a ride, that means he sacrifices himself. And, at the gates. You know what I mean? Maybe 1 kid. Maybe he could have got through with 1 kid. But I don't know. Did it say he had 3 kids? I don't know how many. But the kids represent a certain type of energy or people that would be trying to hitch a ride. And if you try to give too many people a ride, you are the sacrifice. You are the ticket. You are the payment. So that's kind of the code that I got from it. Right. So now that we know the code, now what? I mean, they keep repeating the same thing. Alice in Wonderland, or, Through the Looking Glass is the same exact thing. Basically, they're telling you about after your afterlife. They keep reminding you of the afterlife, of what's to come if you don't do certain things, or if you try to do certain things on Earth. So, Through the Looking Glass, right? You said so it's only a certain number of people. Yeah, I don't think a lot of you guys understand what I'm talking about. I try not to talk about it too much because people don't get it, or they don't want to get it, even though it's in plain English. They will not accept it because they've been told so many different things. That's why Through the Looking Glass, or this book, the Wonderland Collection, is so important, because it tells you the same exact thing. You cannot get through to the other side unless you have a certain thing. And the messages that keep getting put out there over and over and over, through many different ways, not just this way, but over and over and over, are the same exact messages every time. And so until we get it, until we wake up and realize, look, if everybody wants to be free, if everybody wants to have the same type of afterlife, or at least the same, option, then everybody has to have a certain thing to get out. That's it. And, I just had a conversation with somebody, and, the media pushes certain things to accomplish certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can control a group of people without them knowing the plan, without them knowing the code, without them figuring it out, then you pretty much control an entire world. Okay. So people that are awake and understand these things, either they further promote them or they teach how to see, but there's nothing they can really do except promote it, teach it, or add to the code, right? Make art out of it, write books with it, put it in music, put it in song, because if you're doing that, eventually someone's going to wake up because of you. Eventually someone will see what they haven't seen before because of you. And so you would have helped other people wake up even if you're not around anymore. So your art will last. But manifesting. Manifesting is very powerful, and you can pretty much create the life you desire on earth after you have mastered, your self-discipline. You got some code, you understand how stuff works, you have less doubt, you know what's going on, you don't live in fear anymore, this is that and this is this. And so all of that bad stuff falls away. And so you don't live in fear. You understand what's going on. You understand every commercial, and you could break down the code and everything. And so you already know you can manifest, you can bring stuff to you. You can help other people learn the same thing. You can figure out solutions to issues and problems. And you can see how the shift is occurring to free people. But also at the same time, it's freeing, but it's also, if you fall slave to it, it becomes a trap again. So for example, like Amazon and online businesses, just like people are slaves to 9-to-5 corporations, you can also become that online. Like if you work online, or if you only order stuff online, or if that's the only place where you can get stuff is online and through only a few, retailers. So seeing that that's how the future is going, if you want to get ahead of the game, you have to start creating your own stuff online, because that's where everything is headed. If you want to make money, you're going to have to switch to online. You say you're a slave to Amazon? Well, then get paid by Amazon. Don't be a slave, get paid. So yeah, so that's the way that it is going. Don't be left behind and a day late and a dollar short all the time. Start to look to the future and see where stuff is headed, because that's what the code is for, to point you in the correct direction so you can get there in time to just, be successful, instead of, trying to get the scraps and after everybody has already, taken their spot. Right. Also, once you realize the code and you can see everything, it's like, okay, gosh, they keep telling us the same thing. Why can't they say it in plain English? Like, what would be the problem with someone saying what the code was in plain English? I think people would be upset about that. But it is actually the solution. And until all people are ready for that solution, I don't think it will be broadcasted out so loudly. This is the Wonderland Collection. I should put the link below. It's in my last video that I did on this channel. If you go under my channel page and just hit the last video I recorded, it's in the description bar, or I'll try to link it after the let me see if I can link it now. Hold on. But anyway, I'll link it after. It's on my last video. It's just the Wonderland Collection. Can I make a code video again? It's on I think I have some on my Patreon, like how to decode. I have those videos on my Patreon. Decode with Ashira is my Patreon. And it might be linked down below too. You started listening to the audiobook and it has so many clues. Yeah. It's all about race. Bet y'all didn't realize that. It's all about the cosmos and race and the afterlife and the spirit realm. Even the youth have racist tendencies, amount of generations, but will need to unlearn racism and heal. There is no way to unlearn it but to get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of it is to not have two different races that live so closely among each other. Think about that. In what other countries, besides the one that has the most racist issues, do people live among each other of different races? That's what's probably going to happen. Everybody's going to mix, and there'll be less issues with race. Might be issues with other things, but definitely less issues with race. Beep, beep, beep. If you don't know code, how can you understand the book? Gotta learn code. Well, the book will just be silly and entertaining if you don't know the code. But if you know the code, they're talking about the pineal glands being ate up in that book and everything. I forgot who it was. It was the knight. Yes, the knight that kept falling off the horse sang Alice a song. He says, sometimes when I sing this song, some people cry and some people don't. And the song was basically code for how people get their pineal glands ate. She didn't understand the code, so she was like, okay. And he says, oh, you didn't cry, or something like that. That means you don't understand. It's just very interesting that all that stuff is in that book that you never really thought about. It's even in Willy Wonka. The original Willy Wonka is definitely. I was watching the part where they were singing the Pure Imagination song, and Sasha was watching with me, and we were decoding it right then and there. Thank you, Ruby Falls, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Have you done the breakdown on Lovecraft? I haven't even watched it yet. I am so sorry. Sprinkle Sprinkle. I will try to catch up with it. Y'all know I'm always behind on watching TV. I really don't do too much TV unless I'm researching something. So I'll have to make time to do that. Y'all know kids got homeschool or, school, virtual school, so it's hard. But thank you, Ruby, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Right. So the Willy Wonka, the chocolate factory. Very coded. So if you go to they have it on YouTube, you can just go to the Pure Imagination scene where he's singing Pure Imagination. All the other kids, except for Charlie and his grandfather, go and bust stuff open and eat out of it, like a skull, or reach inside of something and take something out. They remove something from another thing. They take from something else. Charlie only takes a candy cane from a tree, something that grew naturally. He didn't bust nothing open. It was given. It was a gift. It was a swirl gift. Okay, there you go. And then Willy Wonka, he ate from that same tree as well. They only took what was naturally given and provided. Everybody else bust stuff open and remove things out of things. So you gotta watch it. It's interesting. And pay attention to the colors of the clothing that people have on. Very interesting. You said adrenochrome. I say pineal glands, and yes, busted open like a skull. And you think you're watching a child's movie, but most children's movies are super code for what's really going on. So they start at a young age to try to wake you up. And so you'll always remember your childhood movies. So when you rewatch them as an adult, maybe with your kids, and you've had some type of awakening, you'll probably start to decode them. Like, why they doing that? You know, but you would never think about that unless you had learned about all this other stuff that people don't just talk about. But now it's out in the open. People are talking about the adrenochrome and all that kind of stuff. But we've been knowing that for a long time. It's been happening forever. Thank you, Danielle. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I love your messages. By the way, you're gorgeous. I saw some hater men running their mouths, but you have a subscriber for life from me. Thank you, girl. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said a hater man. That's okay. Let them hate. Haters make you greater. Right? But thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Yeah. So there's a part in here that also talks about the pineal gland, or the whatever y'all want to call it. Someone who's stolen melanin, bought melanin, hitched a ride, drank it, ate it, something like that. It talks about a man on a wall, or a man on a wall, and how he's like rich and snooty in his tone, and he's telling people how he got there, but he's stuck on the wall. He can't get back. He can't get past it, but he's just stuck there. But he's still proud to be there because he made it that far. That whole book is crazy, and it makes no sense if you try to read it literally. But like I said, the code will basically tell you all the secrets to come, all the things that are happening. I'm reading Book of Enoch so far. It's really interesting. Yeah, that's one of my favorite books too. How do I feel about the Enoch? I feel that it's been done forever. It's been done forever. Ever since people stopped mixing in to get melanin. And yeah, ever since the biblical days. True story. Thank you, Danielle. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you. My teeth look good, dog. Yeah, I brushed my teeth there. Thank you. I brush with Burt Bees fluoride-free toothpaste. But thank you. I appreciate it. It's been written. I learned from Shira and some others. Yeah, sprinkle, sprinkle. You use that too? Oh, cool. So that stuff's been going on forever. It talks even about it in the Bible. It's in code too, of course. Lil Wayne talks about it. I think he partook in it. Or hold on, I have to pull up some lyrics before I say that about him. Because I don't know if he partook in it or if he's talking about people that partook in it. I would have to look up the lyrics. Let me do that real quick before I say something that ain't true. Hold on. What's the name of that song? Okay. I'll tell y'all the song in a second. Y'all gonna laugh when y'all hear the stupid lyrics that actually are code for the pineal gland stuff. Okay. I am devoted to destruction, a full dosage of detrimental dysfunction. I'm dying slow, but the devil trying to rush me. See, I'm a fool for pain. I'm a dummy. Might cut my head off right after I slit my throat. Tongue kissed a shark, got jealous, bees all up in the boat. Eating peanut butter and jellyfishes on toast. And if I get stung, I get stoked. Might choke like I chewed a chunk of charcoal naked in the North Pole. That's why my heart cold, full of sorrow and a lost soul. And only Lord knows when I'm coming to the crossroads, so I don't fear ish but tomorrow. And I'm a sucker for pain, and I ain't nothing but pain. You just complain, you ain't as tough as you claim. Just stay up in your lane. Don't mess with Lil Wayne. I'ma jump from a plane or stand in front of a train because I was a plane. So he sold basically he's saying he sold his stuff, he sold out, he's just owning it, but he's also telling the story too. So, the peanut butter and jellyfishes. A jellyfish looks like a brain. Okay. So you have all those brain chemicals. You have the peanut butter. Okay, peanut butter is, y'all get it now? Yeah, so the pineal gland is the smallest, the size of a pea or a peanut. Peanut butter, pineal gland. Jellyfish, brain. On toast, bread is body, on body. So flesh, brain, and pineal butter, basically. And it says it's like he chewed a chunk of charcoal. That means black. Okay. So these lyrics may sound nonsensical. You may think Lil Wayne is like not with the code. Unless someone else wrote this for him, I don't see, I don't see why they would, but this is basically what it's saying. And it says, I want to chain you up. I want to tie you down. I'm just a sucker for pain. I torture you. I torture you. I'm devoted to destruction. This song is called I Torture You. It's by Lil Wayne and who else? It's on the Suicide Squad soundtrack. It's called I Torture You. Hmm. Okay, so yeah. He's like more talking about how, I don't know, like maybe that's why he got to stay high all the time because the stuff that he done did. I don't know. Sometimes they get you before you know any better. And sometimes they tell you, well, this is the deal, and you may not believe it. You might like, these people crazy. Yeah, whatever, give me the rap deal. If someone came to you when you were like 18, 19 years old and say, okay, well, if you want to be a famous rapper, when you gotta we're gonna tell you some stuff, you agree to it, you sign this contract, and you kind of rap about it in code, and you'll be super famous. When you're young and poor and broke, you don't care. You don't believe none of this stuff anyway, right? Well, when you die, you got to give people rides, and in order to be down with us and to seal the deal, you got to eat this and you got to eat that, and you got to do this and do that. What do you say? Right. And so, if you notice, a lot of these stars who are heavily drugged, it's because they're trying to forget something that they had taken part in. You know. Hmm. He was very young, and when you're young and poor, you don't care. You just go like, whatever. Yeah, I'll do it. Whatever. Um. And so he's been high ever since. So what do you do to sell your soul? Okay, so they talk about this a lot in Alice in Wonderland. Like they say, did you buy one, or were you born naturally with one, or did you buy one? Okay, so in this world, you can buy a ticket. You can buy a free ride to the other side, which means if you don't have enough melanin and you buy a ticket, it means you buy a melanated person's a ride out with them. So it could be, whoever. They even talk about it in a Kendrick Lamar song. He says there's no ticket on my plate. Y'all remember that lyric? He's and Kendrick Lamar, I think it's DNA or something like that. He said, "There's no ticket on my plate." That means I'm not anyone's ticket. I didn't make no deal. I didn't sign any contracts. I didn't do any of that. There's some people that have, and you can tell those people because they're always high, because they've done so much crazy stuff, they've tried to forget, or they kill themselves, or they always look high, or they got like them bags like they're huge. Because when you ingest that stuff, it's not that you're ingesting another soul, period. You're not just ingesting some chemical, you're ingesting part of a soul. And that's what I torture you is about. Like you're getting tortured from within by that soul. And it's kind of like that get out thing, except they're being tortured from within. Hmm. And I don't want to. I don't like to out people who've done this because I can't say yes or no for sure, 100%. But I know a few people that have that you'd be surprised, and it's just by the code itself, and it's okay. But hey, the game is the game, and I don't know, and that's why I don't really care about fame. There's people that just want to be famous, and for what? You can be rich. I'd rather be rich than be famous. Period. I'd rather just have some money than be well known. I could care less. And so when people start learning the code, they're going to start seeing, quote unquote, the real monsters. You know what I'm saying? They're going to start seeing the monsters. Monsters will be revealed to you. Sorry. Yeah, give me the loot. Monsters will be revealed to you. And when you start seeing them, everything starts to change a little bit. It's like side eye, what's really going on. And a lot of people call them out. Like Beyonce and Jay-Z call them out a lot in their music. There's this song called there's too many songs, but basically it talks about their breaths, or they can smell something on their breath. That's that adrenochrome y'all talking about. I think it's the song Heard About Us. And then there's another song on Lemonade album. Whispering or something like that. Sprinkle, sprinkle, thank you. Influencer fame is cool, but I don't even want to be super influencer famous. Like I want to go wherever I want to go without people knowing I'm on YouTube or whatever. So I like it like that. That's why I be changing up these wigs so much. Y'all can't recognize me. I noticed if I change up my wig, that might help a little bit if I do go somewhere. Coco, they realized the big star was a liar and using someone else's identity. That's right. That movie has a lot of code too. But you love the wigs. Thank you. But yeah, so a lot of people, the best thing to do with code is to see who's who. You know what I'm saying? See who, and a lot of times, a lot of people get to these famous people when they're very young and desperate. And so it's almost as if they don't see another choice. It's almost like the equivalent to selling drugs to your own people and watching them die. But it's far worse than that because it's really right in there physically with them. And it could also be no different if we really think about it. It's also could be no different than killing someone else. But still you have your afterlife. This one is taking your afterlife from you. So there's no freedom even in death. So it's kind of like, oh my goodness. You said Will Smith. I don't know. I don't know about Will Smith. You think it's Will Smith? Will Smith is very like, I don't think he got enough. I don't think he has enough to, you know what I mean? I don't know. I definitely don't think Beyonce and Jay-Z did it because they really talk about it and they expose a lot of other people. Mhm. I don't think Chris Brown did it either. I don't think Rihanna, Beyonce, Chris Brown, any of them have done it. I don't think Drake. I think they're the ones that like to expose a lot of people who have done it undercover in their songs, though. Yeah, they didn't need to do it. Like they didn't need to do it. A lot of people don't need to do it because they weren't desperate. If you notice, it was only the truly desperate people that did it, and a lot of people didn't do what you think that they did. Um, and the reason that they go after certain people, like certain black people or certain people of color, is because they know they're poor and desperate to get famous. Uh, mhm. Even wrote like I don't know if y'all were watching me back then, but Roseanne Barr was always on YouTube sometimes, and she was outing so many people. And she had put up like a really quick video. And she says, um, I have an interview to see if I'm going to get my own talk show tomorrow. And then she comes back the next day and she says, if you were invited to a party in order to like close a deal, but they were serving baby and you had to eat it, would you go? And then she put that out. And like it stayed up for like a whole day and then she removed it or YouTube removed it. So she didn't go. She was all the way in Hawaii or whatever. She didn't go, obviously, because she said, forget that. And she's basically outing them. So they literally, like I said, that's what they're doing. That's where a lot of the missing kids go. That's where a lot of, people like, I don't know. We know the truth. That's where a lot of people are going. And these people have set it up like an option. Like, well, I don't want to get melanin in this life, and I don't want to mix out, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that because there are different ways to get where you need to go in the afterlife. This is the fat in the Alice in Wonderland or the Wonderland Chronicle collections. It it personifies this group of people as a fat, um, rich uh, man who should not be where they are. Basically, someone who cheated but stuck on a wall. Still, that's as far as they can go. They can take all of the melanin and pineal glands that they want. They still get stuck on the wall, but that's as far as they can go. But it's still better than being recycled energy and used by whatever is collecting it. Um, you know what I mean? You gotta read this crazy. I'm trying to tell you. But they say it in poetry, they say it in weird rhymes, but you'll understand it. Um, mhm. So, and the best okay, so we're dealing with people that eat pineal glands, right? So Beyonce goes and deals with, the Yoruba religion, her spirituality, because they don't do that and that spirituality because they don't need to do it, right? So, what do you do when a whole industry or a group of people in an industry is, on this side of things? You go on the opposite side because that's where the power is. You don't go on the same side. You can't fight it on the same side. You go on the opposite side and you learn some stuff that they don't know and they can't understand and they cannot decode. Right. Clause. So, um, how does melanin determine your afterlife? It's a very scientific thing. Melanin, or the amount of melanin that you have, affects your energy. Your soul is energy. So, it's like a battery. Your body's like a battery. And there's two types of batteries, right? One type of battery has this much energy, the other type has this much energy. One has more a higher vibration than the other. So when that energy, like let's say, leaves the battery, and when it leaves another battery, one leaves faster than the other, depending on how much it's charged or how much energy it has in it. So same thing with the body. When your soul leaves your body, depending how much energy you have, depending on the amount of your melanin, depends on how much energy you have, because it stores sun, it stores light. It's a light body. It stores energy. So when you depart to your afterlife, you're either going to be fast or you're going to be like that dead battery that's slow and drained. But if it's fast, you can shoot out like a rocket through the walls or the gates or whatever you want to call it, the ionosphere, with no problem. If if you sign these contracts, drink some of that stuff, eat that pineal gland, you're marked with a certain type of energy, and it drains you, and you got to give somebody a ride. You got to sacrifice yourself and give somebody a ride to the wall, basically. So, right, and you go out through here, exactly, or your breath, either way. Fast like a Lambo, scoot, scoot, scoot. And a Lambo or a lamb is also a laser, like energy. Um, so I know a lot of people don't think that these music artists and actresses, artists, I'm not even going to say that they're smart. I'm just going to say that they've been given privy to the knowledge. Sorry, they've been given privy to the knowledge because you know they are influencers, heavy influencers. So they've been given privy to the knowledge. Um, what are they feeding us? What if they're feeding us? Do you really think that they would be feeding us that when it's so expensive and they would want it for themselves? Mhm. You know. So can they ever experience the afterlife, and if they sacrifice themselves, or is for eternity? Um, the I think the book of Paul kind of explains this, and it's one of those books like the Book of Enoch. It's not in the Bible, and explains the afterlife as far as souls and spirits and where they go according to whatever what they've done as far as it's code too, so you'll understand. It's like this type of person, when you get to the gates, you split. You split from whoever you're giving a ride with, or you split from the other part of you. Your soul and your spirit split. Okay? Your soul and your spirit split as two different beings. And so if someone's hitching a ride with you, their spirit is going to come out of you. And if you're caught at the gate with a spirit that ain't part of you, but part of someone else, they get to go in or to a certain point and you don't. You got to stay on a lower level. But that was the sacrifice that you did. It's a sacrifice. You can reincarnate, but that was your sacrifice. And some people say, "Oh, well, that's worth it. I don't care. I just reincarnate, come back." No, some people don't care. But we don't know like how long. How long are you going to stay there? What are you going to be doing there? What if you could have came back with more? You could have been on a higher frequency. You could have come back with more knowledge. I don't know. But nobody really knows everything. All I'm saying is that's how it is explained in the book of Paul. And so the reason why people do partake in the cannibalism and whatnot is because in ancient Kemet, a lot of this knowledge was talked about. And they kind of perverted it and twisted it the opposite direction. Thank you. Information. I like how you spell that. Is our imagination part of the infinite universe? Yes. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Sin Design. Jay-Z created his own platform for the other side. Check Rock Nation's website and see who's with us. Ashura, a beautiful guy. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Yes. That's so true. Thank you for that donation. Kanye let Kim hitch a ride. He said he on that movie Get Out. He said he's the dude from Get Out. That's what he meant. Like he's in the sunken place, which means basically he has someone. That's why he said he's bipolar, because he got somebody up inside that's hitching a ride. Okay. I wonder who he got to hitch a ride with. Who do you think? Who do you think hitched a ride with Kanye? I don't judge Kanye as a person because you can't really judge people. Like I like Kanye as a person. I think he's very smart and a genius. But isn't it ironic how he became rich and became a 5 billionaire within a year and surpassed Jay-Z? Isn't it very interesting? But I don't judge him for that. Remember, that's our choice. I don't judge him for that. If you give up your afterlife for this life, that's your choice, and that's the choice he took. Um, can Kanye undo this? Can you uneat something? You can't undo it. Um, but as an eternal being, you can always reincarnate. You know. hmm But like I said, I don't judge people for what they do with this life because honestly, if you watch the whole thing, you can figure out why Kanye did what he did, or why I think he did what he did. They they got him so frustrated to the point and put the ceiling over his head, the glass ceiling. And you know, when you're when you're competitive as a man, and you got Jay-Z next to you, and you're Kanye, you think you're God, and you want to be like Jay-Z or better, and you really want to surpass him, but you can't because there's a ceiling over your head. And the ceiling over your head is like, okay, well, you can't surpass me on your own, so you got to go somewhere else and make a deal in order to surpass me in money, and maybe in fame, but never in talent. They can't touch your talent, period. Talent has to be there, but you can never surpass someone's talent if it's not natural. So he surpassed Jay-Z in his money. He may have surpassed him in how many times his name has been mentioned in the last 2 years or whatever, but never surpassed in talent. Um, when you sell shoes, clothes, and things like that, that's code for, you know, selling melanin and selling this and that. I keep seeing a maze, and you feel like you have to go in it and find the hidden treasure. That's yourself. The maze is within. I wonder if this was done with slaves. No. Well, I'm sure they didn't hitch rides with slaves. You know that was done with slaves. They probably stocked up. They had a good old stock up for years, had it frozen, powdered, dehydrated, put in pills. You know they have a stock. I'm sorry, I have a vivid. You can't even say it's imagination. It's a memory. Whatever you can imagine, it's because it's true. Somewhere and sometime. What? um, you said Beyonce helped Jay-Z. If y'all don't understand the code, what Beyonce represents, you can't understand it. Beyonce represents something. If you don't know what she representing, then she tells you in every song. hmm In every song, Beyonce represents. You said Oshun. Yeah. What is the story of Oshun? What is Oshun's story? Hmm. It's deeper than that. Go deeper. Like go to the Oshun story. Read what Oshun did when she left and went to the heavens. Hmm. Well, that even that story is in code. So if you don't know, yeah, basically when Oshun left, yeah, everything dried up. When she had to sacrifice some of her face, and that's why she wears the mask, like the little drippy looking mask, because she sacrificed some of her face, which means her identity, which means her melanin. She sacrificed some of her melanin so that there could be water, so that there could be life again, so that there could be this and there could be that, so she could come back and fix it, so she could come back and fight against all the things that are being done. So just like when you go up, in order to come back, you also have to sacrifice part of yourself. That's why if you sacrifice all of yourself as a melanated being and you come back, you can't come back as a melanated being anymore. You come back as a spirit. That's why she's saying the song Spirit. Because after you give somebody a ride and you sacrifice all your energy and all your melanin, the only way that you're going to be reborn is through possibly someone in your own DNA line who has mixed out. So that's why Little Wayne has his, new girlfriend, or I don't know if he gonna marry her, from Australia, because he has to mix out now in order to be reborn through his unborn, because he done sold everything, every little ounce of whatever he got. Okay. Yeah, the great I am. But it's sad because they get you when you're poor and don't know anything, and they give you, they sit in front of you this deal, and you probably laugh at, oh, this stuff isn't, this not real, this is stupid, ha ha ha, I don't care, I want to be famous and rich. But then as you grow older and you get more knowledge and you understand that this stuff is real, then it's like, what did I do? And then you start doing heavy drugs. You can't go an hour without being high because now you realize what you've done. That's exactly what Lil Wayne is like, you know, da 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 da. So Beyonce, Jay-Z, they're doing things the way, the long, slow way. You know what I'm saying? They work their way up from the bottom with nobody, giving them too much. So, you know, that's what they're doing. But a lot of other people didn't do that. And I think someone quoted last video and where Jay-Z said they rather work for the man than to work with me. That's why he started Tidal. So a lot of the artists can be in an environment where they don't have to do that type of thing to get a deal, to get streams, to, whatever. Hmm. To get famous. Because, just like that song said, I'll make you famous. That means I have enough influence and power to make you famous and you don't have to do any of that other stuff. Just like Michael Jackson had that same energy. If he mentions you, if you work on his album, if you are in his video, somehow, some way, you automatically just become famous because of your association with him. And so the same with Beyonce, same with Jay-Z, but not so much with not so much with certain artists. So they have to go and get the package deal. You know, they got to go and sell something. Yeah, Prince was that way too. I'm tired of hearing about Jay-Z and Beyonce. Okay, well, we'll just call them J and B. What do you want to hear about? Rihanna? What do you want to hear about? How to get your ex back? I don't know. Like, these are the people that we're dealing with, so we have to talk about them. You want to talk about Britney Spears? I don't know. What do we need to talk about? Fenty? Bill Gates? I think so many people, don't like certain people so much that it's just hard for them to just listen. Like, it's not about them personally. I could care less about them as a person. I'm just talking about them because they are the ones that are the influencers. It's like, get out of the feelings. Um, it's like, I'm talking about some stuff, and y'all like all the way like in emotion land. Um, it's like, that's why Nicki Minaj is blacklisted. Y'all didn't know that? She has to make it on her own now. She's on her own. But she's good enough to do it, so that's what she did. Because of stupid Miley Cyrus. They blacklisted her because she called out Miley Cyrus on the award show because Miley was talking trash about her. And Miley was mad about it, and she basically got blacklisted out of the music industry because Miley has those pineal gland connections. Okay. Shoot, makes you think about, like, she got it for her fall gone be the man. She's gone to bounce back. Oh, she gotta bounce back. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why she's the way she is. She's still gonna make it because she has enough talent to do that. When you have the talent, you don't need the deal. In the world of internet, in the world of YouTube, in the world of Instagram, you don't need them anymore. Period. That's right. And that's why this scramble times, everybody's scrambling around. Hello. Oh, hey, Sasha.
Can I use the charger?
Yeah, it's plugged up in the kitchen.
Oh,
You want this one?
fine.
Okay, close the door. Thank you. Yeah, so people can pretty much promote themselves now. I mean, they don't need the industry anymore. hmm With Rihanna's Piscean energy, what side doesn't she represent? Huh? hmm What happened to Aaliyah? Hmm. Well, I don't know. I never really researched Aaliyah for some reason. That's a story I never was really interested in. I know everybody loves Aaliyah. That was a story I was never interested in. Like, it didn't spark enough interest in me. You know, it's something about that. There was something weird about the whole thing. So, mhm. Mm, 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 mm. There's also info in the book Daniel of a monster. Thank you, Alexis. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you. Well, I don't know. I never researched Aaliyah, but mhm. What about Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC? I don't know about her either. I never looked into her stuff either. Um, but a lot of people fake their death, though. You never know. I mean, that's one. That's a way out of it. There's always a loophole. Go fake your death. That's the only way out to fake your death. Okay, so you got to fake your death. You have to fake your death and change the frequency of the world. You have to. It's almost like okay. If you fake your death, because even after death, people will be after your organs, period. People will be after them organs, period. Period. If you were some type of genius, if you had so much talent, just like on that movie Get Out, they were auctioning off, you know, who wanted the guy, and the photographer dude wanted his eye, his talent. So the photographer was like raising his little paddle up in the movie Get Out because he wanted that talent. It's the same thing when a celebrity dies and they're very talented, people will scramble for their body parts. They will bid on them body parts, baby. Y'all think I'm joking? Um, that's why you gotta fake your death. Scramble for them body parts all you want. That ain't my body parts. I hope they gave them somebody with some real messed up everything. Because you know, some of them thought that they was eating Michael Jackson, probably, right? He probably fed them something else, somebody they didn't want. Gonna come back as Pookie. Anyway, y'all know Michael Jackson was the king of shade, so it's obvious he would shade them in death as well, give them some other body parts. Hmm. That's how you got to go out, especially if you want to protect yourself. And that's why Michael Jackson did a lot of stuff he did, because they'll try to get at you through your kids. Okay, y'all always talking trash about Michael Jackson, and because y'all don't understand on a higher level and behind the scenes and how stuff works. They will attack your family, your kids. They will go after everybody. That's why he had to keep his real kids secret. His real kids secret, and he had to have the other kids to keep his fortune. The real kids got money too, but it wasn't a big thing in the news. Thank you, Aja. Sprinkle, sprinkle, Fookie. So, in order to stop people from trying to steal Michael Jackson's legacy, his money, his estate, he left it to these children who would not be targets. You understand, because they don't have what they want. Period. But his real children, they got money too. They were kept hidden. Some of them still hidden. Some people don't even really know who's who, but I do. Thank you, Kendra Sprinkle Sprinkle, and appreciate that. So, and especially if someone's always after your soul, your soul, your soul, your soul. I want your melanin. I want your pineal gland. I want your soul. And science is not super advanced yet, and it's like, okay, you know okay, so I have vitiligo, and maybe if I get rid of all this melanin, they won't be after me so much. They won't be trying to hit you right. You can't fly spirit no more. So that option was off the table. They couldn't get Michael Jackson. They couldn't fly spirit. Thank you, D. Elizabeth Sprinkle Sprinkle. So now that they couldn't fly spirit because he didn't have this anymore, unless he, let it come back, they can't fly spirit on him no more. The only thing that they got left is this, right? So that's why he had locks on his doors at night. That's why he was scared to go to sleep, scared to eat, because he thought they was gonna try to get him and get his pineal gland. People thought MJ was crazy, but he wasn't crazy. Thank you, T. How does organ donation or theft affect you in the afterlife? I ain't giving my organs away. That's where all your energy is. That's where your soul and your energy is, and it needs to all be able to be released out of your body into the cosmos, or it's going into someone else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe that. That's why I say burn me. Don't let them take my organs. Stay in the same room with me when I'm dead, like they do in certain religions. They have someone sleep in the room overnight. That's why, so they don't steal them organs. Someone is supposed to be with the body at all times. I think it's the Muslim religion. Somebody got to sit in there the whole time with that body. Make sure nobody mess with it. Period. All right. So, yeah, he sang about it in Ghost. Yeah. Cremation, usually they give you 72 hours before they cremate your body, and that gives your body enough time to release what it needs to release energetically. So they 72 hours, 3 days, baby. 3 days. That's why in the Jesus story, they say 3 days and then he rose. Mm-hmm. So 72-hour wait before cremation, always. Thank you, Alicia. Is that why Bill Cosby's son died? They were trying to get at him? Mm-hmm, they got at him. Every time you're trying to do something, they're going to, and you're very powerful, and you keep telling them, no, you can't hit no ride. No, you can't have my soul. A lot of stuff is worth your soul. And the punishment that some of these people have to take, they'll take it, even though they're innocent, because it's not worth it to them. They're not going to give in. Well, we'll let you out. We'll do this. We'll clear your name. No thanks. My name's still good. Michael Jordan, his dad. Ghost dad, Bill Cosby. Who else did they mess with? R. Kelly. Or R. Kelly. They wanted R. Kelly for sure. We're going to make your own people hate you. We're going to pay people to say this about you, say that about you. But, it's the price you pay. That's okay, though. In the end, it's kind of like the book of Job in the Bible. Okay. When you get to a certain level of fame and no one can take it from you, they will try everything to take it away from you until you give your soul. That's what they did to Mike. That's what they're trying to do to R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. Some people, they don't have to do that too because, they get them young and stupid. They was trying to do it to Jay-Z by always trying to take him to court, put some charges on him. So he had to get some serious security and some serious money and some serious high connects that have a lot of power. Mm-hmm. Do a science topic again so people can understand these rituals and not to be focused on the celebrities. Okay. Well, I said it 1,000,000,000 times. People just don't want to get it. You melanin is energy. The more energy you have, the further you can get out of here, and the more power you have in the afterlife. So I've broken that science down 1,000,000,000 times, but people still don't want to hear it. And so a lot of these people are trying to just protect their families and not be targets. Thank you, moves. Hey, Shira, should I reconsider being a writer in Hollywood? I hear a thing that goes on. If you don't know how to write code, don't even bother because they're gonna change all your script anyway. Um, you don't need Hollywood to be a writer. I think so many people forget that they don't need Hollywood, and that's why they keep falling into the trap. They don't need the industry. There's so many people that don't need it. I mean, look at Erica Badu. Look at all the people that don't even walk on that side of the track. You don't need it. If you have talent, you don't need it. They need you. Just like Jay-Z said, you need me, I don't need you. The NFL needs black players. The NBA needs black players. The black players don't need the NBA. They can start their own league. You understand? So don't be confused. People are been so confused for so long, they don't understand that up is down and down is up. And you hold all the power and they hold none. That's why they got to crack skulls. So, Lauryn Hill. Oh yeah, I saw on Instagram, Lauryn Hill and Mariah Carey are supposed to have a song together. It comes out on September 1st or 2nd or something like that. Neuromelanin is more important. Okay, so neuromelanin is important, but you need a boost. Okay, neuromelanin can't go nowhere without the eumelanin. You know, it's like a boost. It's like a rocket. You need that thrust, baby. You need that rocket. You can have energy in a sitting atomic, bomb, but in order to get it somewhere, you need the thrust. The eumelanin is the thrust. So you might have energy, but you have no thrust. You said you got that thrust. Cryptonomics got that thrust. Got that thrust. And how do you keep or retain eumelanin? Stay black. That's the saying, stay black. Melanin is manipulated by eating healthy food. Yeah. I feel like Drake's new music is super cool. Yeah, Drake right in the middle. Like Drake is in the middle. Like anytime you see like super mixed people, their messages are going to be in the middle. Drake's message is in the middle. But he's like, okay, I made it. There's a middle afterlife. There's a middle land. And I talked about that when I did the video, Are We in the Afterlife? There's a middle land, a middle afterlife, a middle, what they call it. I think in some religions, the field of Ephesians, the field of reeds, the neither Neither world. Neither world. Talks about an Alice in Wonderland book. It's like the nobody, neither world, no name. Because it's like you don't know, like you're neither this nor that. You're both. So that part, especially like a lot of compared to a lot of people that are mixed, a lot of African Americans, mixed slavery, Native Americans, um, slave owners, and then the slaves from Africa, all of that mixed over the years and created what they call Black people in African Americans, or whatever you want to call the creation, the sons of man, or whatever you want to call them. And so you have so many different bloodlines and DNA running through your body. Like if you got, and I don't care about people saying, "Oh, the DNA test is fake." Okay, let's say you have a real one. You go to a lab and you do it yourself. So you go to the lab and you do your own DNA test and you see how many bloodlines are in your blood. Thank you, Sasha. Why are non-Black cities going in so hard for Black Lives Matter? Because they matter. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Because they matter. Maybe they're waking up. Maybe they're being paid to. Who knows? Sprinkle, sprinkle. They're being paid to. Okay, they gotta go in. They're getting paid. If they check. Actually, they pay a few people to get the people riled up, and then the other people join to care about it. But it's only a few people that are paid to do it, and then other people join just because they want to join something, no matter what it is. Who's going to want to do something? So, them Twitter activists. Anything, like I already tell you, anything they putting on the news is code. Okay, if you make it on TV, it's code. Period. Point blank. Period. There are people that have been shot about 1,000 times today, but they didn't make the news. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that make the news and certain things that don't make the news. And the stuff that makes the news is the code. That's all. Either way, we got to slide, right? And we live in a world of illusion. We live in a world of actors. We live in a world of manipulation, mass manipulation. We live in a world of elections. We live in a world of emotion. And so the best way to control that world is to show them something in order for them to react. And like everything is connected. Everything is connected. How people feel, how people act, how people perceive the world affects spending, it affects the stock market. It affects how people live in fear. It affects how the shift is going to occur step by step by instilling certain things in people through fear. It's step by step, brick by brick, stone by stone. You know what I'm saying? So every little story that's put out, everything that's put out is one step closer to the next step in creating a different type of reality. I'll just say that. So, and it's a shift, and the shift is neither good nor bad. It is what you make of it. And that's the part that's going to mess up a lot of people. It's what you make of it. You cannot have fear. You only need the information so that you can go forward and do what you got to do. So when I say that, it means like if you can see the code, you can see 10 steps ahead. You can see where all this is headed. Um, this is all headed to having super control over almost everything to create a free, almost as close as you can kind of get to a utopian society. As close as you can get. But there's people that are not going to fit into this society. Okay. Because they're not going to be smart enough to avoid certain things. You know, watch the movie Demolition Man. It's an old movie from the 90s with Sandra Bullock, Wesley Snipes, and Sylvester Stallone. Go watch that movie. Pay attention to the people that don't fit and where do they live and how do they live. Pay attention to how stuff is and how many things that we already have today is old, but you'll see a lot of stuff that's already happening because it was supposed to be in the future. And you'll see a lot of stuff that's already here now and how everything is going to this direction. It's called Demolition Man. And it has like Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock. Yeah. That ain't Dennis Rodman. Is he in there too? I thought it was just he looked like Dennis Rodman. Anyway, the people that don't fit, yes. The people that don't fit are going to be like the people that didn't wake up in time, the people that probably took them vaccines and got experimented on, the people that did not take heed to certain things, the sheeple. Yeah, yeah. hmm And because you have a utopian society doesn't mean that everybody's going to fit. And that's why, a lot of people, especially healthy people, that's why this corona thing is coming, a lot of people are trying to weed out, how they say, oh, they're going to separate the wheat from the tare. They only want the best, baby. You got to be the best. Got to be the best. Be the best of your. Be the best. It's like what's that? They always have those divergent movies. Everybody got to compete to get to this new land and all this stupid stuff like that. That's really what's happening. But it's can you survive? Will you survive? Thank you, Monique. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Who's going to survive? Thank you, Information Planet. Black Arabs live in Yemen and Oman. Google it. Some say they taught the white people people were non-Semitic. Did black people create Islam? Sprinkle, sprinkle. Religion won't even matter anymore in a few years. But sprinkle, sprinkle. Religion was just to carry the code and the knowledge. That's all it was for. Just like this book is to carry the code and the knowledge. Someone could make a religion out of this book any day, anytime. Just take the characters and worship them. The religion is to carry the code. That's all it's for. Whoever created the code in the first place, whoever created writing, created all this code, all this information that's been given. So I don't really think about religion, who's right and wrong. All religion hold the same code. All stuff holds the same information. That information is telling everybody the same thing over and over and over. You need Melanin. You need to mix. You can't get through. Your afterlife is limited. Da 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 da. So they all say the same thing. All religions say the exact same thing, no matter where you go. And so people that are fighting a religion are stupid. They're fighting over the same thing. Cryptonomics said, if I need some more melanin, you got me. Oh, thank you so much. You're so crazy. Yeah. You guiding people to the dark Web. What? No, I'm not. Oh, y'all talking to each other. Okay. Race. Yep, that's what it's all about. The race. Mhm. Have you seen Interstellar? I probably have. I don't remember. I don't know. I might have. Ashira, I'm a get. What? No, you ain't. Mhm. If we were all the same color, race wouldn't matter. Only energy. That's right. Only. That's what they're trying to go towards. But first, they have to find the acceptable people. They're really finna do some stuff y'all don't even realize. But slowly but surely, they're trying to weed out certain types of unhealthy people. They're trying to weed out a bunch of type of people. They're pushing this 5G even higher to see who can withstand the 5G. There's systematic ways to get rid of the unhealthy and the low vibrational. We already know that. Thank you, Coder. Sprinkle. What book is about the needing to mix to get through part? I've been looking for a text on it. Every book, baby. It repeats itself in every book. Jesus story, Alice in Wonderland story, every story. The only way for the agent Smith to be free in the Matrix was he had to go inside of Neo, and then Neo bust through him, and he came back, reborn, and the agent was free. So everything is the same story over and over and over and over. Even Willy Wonka, over and over. So all religion, all stories, most epic movies are about the same thing. Yeah, the Bible tells you how to mix. It gives you formulas and all. Like, it's crazy. If you're reading it, you'll understand. It tells you how to mix, when to take a break from mixing. Y'all. If you know how to decode, you can see all of that. And how somebody closed the people off from coming back to mix in after 7 years, and that's how they were. Thank you, Phoenix. Assure you have any advice for high-class sex workers in regard of using sacred sex wealth for our benefit? Honestly, I never thought about that. Wealth, period, can benefit anybody. However you got to get it, if that's what you got to do it, it's the oldest profession. So, hey, sprinkle. Get your worth. I don't know. Like, I'm charged double. How about that? Charge double. Say my stuff is sacred and special. Got glitter in it or something. Say you descended from some type of royalty or whatever. Get your money. I descended from a Atlantean priest. I'll be lying, making it up, girl. I wouldn't even approach it like sex work. I'd approach it like a sacred ritual. And I'd have like workers that would like do a show and like turn off the lights and play some drums and music, and they would turn off the lights. I would appear and then disappear. Somebody else be doing a do. And then you turn the lights on, I reappear, and you think you did something with me, but you ain't do nothing with me, but only pay me. Sprinkle. We're gonna have a walk-in substitute. Pay her $25 and send her back on to the trap house, and we'll be done. The switcheroo, right? I change forms. They're gonna have them blinking red lights, like, you know, real fast, so you ain't gonna see them switch me out to. I think you got. Oh no, no, whatever, Krypton. We switching out to, that's my other forums. Did you meet my other forum? I'll be like in a robe afterwards, sitting on like this throne thing. Did you meet my other forum? I'll kiss my feet and be gone. That, that's kind of have to do because I ain't doing no type. Like, I'll make it. I'll make people pay extra just to have the experience, because that's what really you're paying for: the experience to be graced and honored, yet humiliated and tricked at the same time. People pay for that stuff. Anyway, let me get out of my mind. Let me get out of my imagination. My world be crazy. Thank you, Liz C. Sprinkle Sprinkle. Been trying to find a book you mentioned about Philly and Wonderland. Um, Rasben.com. RASBEN.com. That book is on there. Sprinkle Sprinkle. Thank you for the donation. Thank you, Liz. RASBEN.com, where you can find that Philly book. What about the Black people really to Native America and we never came on? What about it? Don't matter. You still here now. We still here. We came from somewhere before that. If you read in the Bible, the people of Cain or Thoth came over here to the Americas or the Olmecs. And then, some of the people from Asia migrated down from the Bering Strait, but also there were the descendants of Cain here in the Olmecs way before that. So when they mixed in with the Asians that came across the Bering Strait, you got the natives. So they were still mixed. They had Black in them. They were enslaved too, yes. They were killed and enslaved as well, for sure. I was so surprised today. I was listening in on, well, this is funny because now that virtual learning is here, the teachers have to go find stuff on YouTube to teach their kids about history and stuff. And y'all know YouTube, they don't be playing with that, fake history no more. They gonna put some real stuff in there every once in a while. And so Layla had to listen to this video. And they were talking about the colonizers and the Spanish who colonized this part of America and who colonized this part of America. And they just said in the video, they said, and they murdered and enslaved the native people that were here. I was like, what? They finally said it, admitted the truth. But that's not because that wasn't in a history book, that was from YouTube. But the teachers have to find resources to teach because there are no textbooks, there's only virtual learning, and so they just find a video that sounds close enough and they give it to them. So the teacher might be amazed now. I was like, what? They're finally giving the truth just because it's from YouTube. I said, aha, they had to go to YouTube and now y'all getting to get some truth. Because y'all know in the history books, they changed those words around. They call them the settlers. The settlers. The settlers came in But the Indians were violent towards them. They were bad. They wanted to go to war. Bad Indians. Y'all remember them teaching us that? They were savages. And then, for Thanksgiving and stuff, you either got to be a pilgrim or an Indian in like the third grade. And if you was a pilgrim, they gave you that ugly hat and that collar. And if you was an Indian, they gave you a construction paper thing with a feather in it. Why they give me the pilgrim? Because I look too much like the real thing for the Indians, and they was gonna feel guilty about it. I'm like, I don't like this collar. I would never wear this. So I was a pilgrim, even though the hat wouldn't fit over my big poofy curly hair. I was a pilgrim. You was an Indian. And a lot of people are like, okay, so a lot of stuff about crime. I want to talk about this real quick. Crime, 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 crime. But he was a criminal. But criminal keeps coming up. He was jailed. He was a criminal. He was jailed, but under false pretenses. Why was he jailed? This is what's gonna kill people. Not kill them literally, but like make them feel bad at the end. Why people sacrifice their freedom. As far as going to prison, going to jail, being locked up, being sacrificed, all that. Why did they do that? What were they protecting? Because a lot of people that are being falsely accused and publicly dragged and put in prison didn't do a thing. But they're doing it for a whole nother reason. And to be locked up unjustly, um, just like the story of Horace, just like the story of, you know, being killed unjustly, it's the same thing. It's the sacrifice of self to save their own soul. Mhm. Right. And the souls of their offspring or children is for them or whoever they love. Right. So if to save your child, I do it. To save your child, would you be publicly dragged, your name through the mud, and go to prison to save your child, and have them say all type of things, bring out fake people, false witnesses, and you can't say nothing, so your child can have a normal life or whatever? Would you do it? Or somebody you love or whatever? Yeah, I do it too. And that's what's gonna get people when they find out that truth. Hmm. Or we will fake our death. Yep. Hmm. And after death, they'll still try to tear you apart if they know you faked it. Because usually they don't tear you apart after death if you didn't fake it. They just let bygones be bygones because you did. And they probably got your pineal gland. They got what they wanted. But if they can't find your body, oh, they're going to tear you apart after death still. Or like like when you're in prison, they'll still tear your name apart while you're in prison as well until you beg for mercy or say, agree with what they want you to do. But Nope. So yeah, I do the sentence too for my kids. I always tell my kids, look, if you ever in a situation, call me. I will help you. Like call me first before you even decide to do anything. At least I can help you plan it the right way or something. I'll take the fall for you. You wish you had enough money to fake your death? You can fake it. I'm gonna tell you how to do it. First, you got to have a residence in Nevada. That's number one, because you can legally do it, and it won't cost you too much money. You need a legal residence, which can be a long-term lease, owning property, or like long-term hotel stay or something like that. You need to have been threatened physically. Um, you need to have two like written death threats, and in the state of Nevada, they can help you. Okay. Hmm. How I know all this? So where did Tupac get shot at? Think about all the famous people that have had residencies in Las Vegas. You make your little list, or places in Las Vegas that they lived. Okay, there you go. Hmm. Somebody can find you. You can slip up. Not if you don't live over here anymore. Not if you're legally considered dead. Like honestly, legally, if you're to fake your death legally, you have to get permission, and you get protection too. You get the protection. Hmm. Private islands. And um, I said a lot of stuff is already coded. If it makes it to the news, it's coded. Period. Mhm. So all these stars that are going for the residency in Las Vegas, at some point they probably are going to fake their death. Not like a big deal, but like maybe before they actually die. Like let's say they're old and they're getting sick or whatever. They're going to fake a death of natural causes, and so people can publicly mourn them. They can watch their own funeral. But when they really die, nobody will really know when, where their body's being buried. That kind of stuff will be very private, and so nobody can really disturb them. And they can live out their last real days in peace, like they did Elvis. Um, so Elvis did that a long time ago. He didn't really die, and he lived out his old years alone. He even like had another child. And if you watch, there's a Fox News interview where they did the DNA to prove that Elvis fathered another child after he supposedly was supposed to be dead. Right. So, um, how do I feel on child trafficking? It's been happening since the beginning of the stolen knowledge. Okay, that's it. So I feel like it's been going on since people stole knowledge that they didn't understand. Mhm. And if you really want to if you really want to understand, because I was going to get into the whole thing, but it's too controversial. People are not ready for the truth, because it's too controversial. Yeah, people have been too programmed to accept things as this or that, but it all came from misconstrued knowledge in the first place. Um, when people stole the knowledge from ancient Kemet and Sumeria and tried to interpret it, they interpreted it super wrong. That is where you get child trafficking. That is where you get child molestation. That's where you get homosexuality. That's where you get all the things that people have been strongly against because they could not decode, period. It would be like taking this book through the looking glass and literally and taking it literally. Okay, so if I took this book literally, because I don't understand code or metaphor, I'm going to be like, okay, you're not understanding it on a certain level because you don't understand the code. And so you take it literally. And that literal aspect is what led to all of this. And the misinterpretation of everything is what led to all this terrible things. Like, if you look at the ancient paintings of Egypt, they'll say, "Oh, they're worshiping the sun." No, they weren't. They was absorbing the light from the sun in their humility, baby. They ain't worshiping the sun. Okay. So, oh, they believe in several gods and da 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 da. No, these are frequencies. You don't have the knowledge, so you're gonna run with whatever you think you know. Oh, well, and you know, they talked about this and that, and that's homosexuality. No, it wasn't. It was genetics, genetic engineering. And the way that they described it was through uh, sperm, DNA, you know. And they were speaking of energy, positive and negative energies, protons and neutrons. But you got homosexuality out of that. They were talking about kids or children, and they were talking about the youngest race on the planet. And you thought they were talking about literal children. So you got it all misconstrued. You know, um, the women, the men would dress like women because, oh, in Egypt, the men wore wigs and makeup and da 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 da. No, they were given a wig as a sign of honor by a queen from, it was a divine gift from a queen to a male to give him her wig. It was like today when a queen knights um, a person. It was that type of thing. And they wore the eye makeup because they were like the bird Horus, or the goddess, the cat goddess Bast, or they were trying to emulate the eyes of these hawks and these eagles. I mean, not eagles, but cats and stuff like that. They weren't wearing makeup to look like women. They were wearing makeup to look like the gods. So the kids are suffering because they did not know how to decode, basically. And so they took this knowledge back to Rome, not knowing how to decode nothing, and started practicing it. That's why the term romantic does not mean anything between a man and a woman. Is, this male man, the male bathhouses, you know, the distillation and the genetic engineering that was written about. They literally tried to use bathhouses, homosexuality, sperm, and pedophilia to create an empire like Egypt, not knowing these people had advanced technology, electricity, and the ability to manipulate the genetics. So they weren't working with the same things that the ancient Kemet people were working with. They were working with the leftover knowledge that they could not decode. And so after doing that for so long, it became their custom, it became their tradition, it became part of their DNA, and they passed it on, so forth and so forth. And so that's how everything got messed up. And that's why we have the crazy world that we have today, because people could not decode the stuff that they stole. That's why they always say it's gonna backfire on you. You can't steal. You can't take this. You cannot be in charge of it. You don't have you don't have the right to this. And so everything you do is going to backfire and be backwards. And so all of this was passed down. It became a part of human history and so forth and so on to this day. And you even have people that are y'all, it's a crazy world, but do you know why the conservatives were against gay marriage? And I have nothing against gay people. I'm just saying. Do you understand why people were so against gay marriage? And it wasn't for the reason you think. It wasn't because they wanted to stop people from loving each other who loved each other. That wasn't it. It was to stop the huge slap in the face of how some people could not decode. You know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate slap in the face, saying, here you go. We have the sacred marriage, the chemical marriage, the alchemical marriage. And so that's why Obama went ahead and let the gay marriage thing through. It was subtle shade, actually. I mean, like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all take it all the way. Because if you think about it, it didn't hurt anybody. It just took it to the highest level. Like if y'all are gonna secretly eat pineal glands in the dark and kill people and drink their blood and stuff, y'all might as well. Those same people would vote against gay marriage. The ones that's in the background eating them pineal glands, they would vote against the gay marriage because they didn't want. Because they do know that eventually people are going to figure all of this out. And so that would be the epitome of you don't understand, like your mistake became your culture. Your mistake became your religion. Your misinterpretation became your demise. So your misinterpretation is now on display for the world to see. It's the backfire. And it's low birth rate. And I already told y'all this, but because people didn't know any better, it's no one's fault but the people that stole it and pushed it. So if you have been affected, if you are, gay, if you do certain rituals and don't know why, if you do certain things and you don't know why, it's not even your fault because you can't help what you were taught. But once you know and you know how it began, then at least you have the information and the knowledge, because there's so many people that don't know that history. So that's why this is don't judge, because you can't judge anybody that did not have a part of that, but are just the after effects. That's why it doesn't matter. You can't blame the victims. You can't blame anyone who was affected by it indirectly, because they're here now. Just like you can't blame the children of the Nephilim, their descendants. You can't blame them for stuff that happened way back then. So it's the same thing over and over and over. So we need to keep eating. Eating what? Eating food. Some of us will keep forgiving them. The Melanin. Are you the queen of spades, diamonds, clubs, or hearts? That's the secret. Ha ha ha. Just like Donald Trump. He's the Trump card. Which one? Which one is it? Which surprise is he? I told y'all. The Trump card is the surprise card. Surprise. The Joker. Where would the world be artistically without gay men? Where would it be, darling? She done told on herself now. Secrets, queen of spades. And I thought you would say hearts, wearing a heart, but code game. I said, that's a secret. You gonna win the scratch off lottery in 2020? Well, go ahead then. Too many people on this earth anyway. Wow. The child isn't responsible for the sins of the father. That's true. But once you learn to decode, once you learn the truth, do you still push a certain culture, or do you just let it be? Do you still push an agenda, or do you just let it be? Because you'd be surprised who's really pushing the agenda. Right. When you push the agenda all the way back to the very source from which the original knowledge came, and everything goes full circle, that's when the truth comes out, period. So the agenda has been pushed all the way back into where the original knowledge came from, back into Egypt, back into Africa, back into the Black community, the gay agenda, the feminized man, what they really got wrong. They're pushing it back to us because once somebody wakes up, the truth is going to come out. So once truth, I guess truth is already out. But once that truth comes out and the knowledge is there, people could get it. It'll be accessible and it'll be a choice then, because there's no excuse if you know, or if there's the information out there, then there's the knowledge. hmm If the child benefits daily from the father's sin, it's absolutely responsible, period. That's true. It's true, but the sins of the father, the child, okay, do you know what sins mean? And which father are we talking about? Because remember, the African American or the indigenous American has two fathers. Y'all keep forgetting about that. You said elaborate, please. When you do a DNA test, you're going to see more than two, you're going to see a few bloodlines up in there. So that means your DNA. You got two fathers. You got whoever your slave master's father was, DNA running through you. You got your Native American fathers. If you came from Africa, you got that. You got that father. So you got two daddies if you're in America. And so the sins of the father represent the misinterpreted information of the father. And if you're talking about money, yeah, that's a whole different thing. Of course, that's true. But we're talking about the teachings. hmm Would Africans have two fathers if you've been colonized? Yeah. Chances are you have, depending on how colonized you were. Okay. Depending on how much colonization went on, how much invasion went on, whatever. Just like, the Vietnam War, when they sent all them troops over there to Vietnam, and all them black people over there to Vietnam, have a bunch of mixed Vietnam babies over there now. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's probably why they had that war over there that long, because they already knew them soldiers was going to get some sprinkle, sprinkle, and sprinkle them with some melanin over there. Spread their seed over there. Because I forgot which book of the Bible it was in, but they said that they will send their kings or something, I don't know, to spare or spread seeds or gifts or something like that all over the world. And so however they chose to do it, whether it be through war, through military bases, through whatever, they sent the melanated people all the way to Vietnam. They sent them to all these parts of the world. They sent them to the Middle East. They sent them to, wherever. And them soldiers be getting it on, they be paying them local girls and making babies and not knowing their daddies because they left. So they're spreading those seeds around the world. Even talked about in the Bible with the Lebanon. I will send my people unto you, and if you do not treat them like kings, I will level your cedars with the voice of God. That was that whole explosion thing in Beirut. They're very racist over there. They treat the brown and the black people like servants and slaves and whores. So that's why the thing happened. That was all biblical. We already knew that. Not saying that it was some supernatural forces that was already been planned. They execute that stuff. So people know what time it is. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. You fighting your cigar? Go to sleep. Y'all can't hang like me. Y'all can get the elixirs. Where to start to learn how to decode? From the source. Book of Symbols. Symbols are the best place to start to learn how to decode. Then the ancient stories of Sumeria, Kemet. It's a lifelong journey. It's going to take you some years. But I do have a Patreon where I have videos and it's like learn how to decode. And it gives you like a bunch of steps, stuff to study that's going to lead you there. And the rest is up to you. So any symbolism book, like Symbolism Dictionary, Complete Idiot's Guide to Alchemy. Alchemy is very important because these steps in alchemy, the way that alchemy is explained, it's not about chemistry, it's about spirituality as well. It's a lot of things that you will hear and then you will understand the code. It's just, you got to be really seeking it. It's not something that somebody just does because they're bored. It's something that you really must be seeking because it takes a lot of effort, energy, and time to really learn this stuff. So unless you're a true seeker of this knowledge, you won't really seek it out like that. But once it pulls you in, it pulls you in. Like the way that it pulled me in was the whole MJ thing. I started decoding stuff that was strange surrounding his quote unquote death. And a lot of code and clues were being dropped heavily at that time that you could not miss them if you were blind. And so I started paying attention and like looking up the meanings of things. Like, what's the meaning of this name? What's the meaning of the name Michael? What's the meaning? Then I looked up the meaning to my name. What's the meaning of, what does the sun represent? What does the moon represent? I just started looking at every symbol and doing my research on what things represent. So when you see a bunch of things being represented, whether in words or pictures, but it's in a weird way, but it makes sense in the code in which a moon would be represented or a sun would be represented, then that's how you pick up the code. So for example, if they said the moon, or no, the cow jumped over the moon, right? Or Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't get Humpty back together again. So Beyonce leaves you clues on what king means, right? King means soul, right? And king is synonymous with soul. That's what she said. So we already knew that. King means soul. A wall where in the sky. Humpty Dumpty, hump day, Wednesday. Odin. See, you have to know all these backstories in order to understand the code. So hump day, dump day. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. He couldn't get off that wall. He's stuck up there. Humpty Dumpty was a fat, pompous, greedy, arrogant person that probably ate pineal glands and tried to hitch a ride, but he got stuck on this wall in the afterlife. All the souls and all the king's horses and all the king's men, all the souls couldn't help him. He's stuck in the middle and the pain is thunder. So this would represent, these people on earth who's all super rich and they done bought a ticket to the afterlife, like get out. And let's say they died today. They didn't eat pineal glands all their life. They didn't stored up some melanin, pop some pills before they died, some melanin pills. and then they thrusted their way up to the wall but couldn't get through the wall and got stuck in the wall. Live your life off the what? Wall. Jay-Z said that was his favorite album, Live Your Life Off the Wall. That was slaying them people right there. Y'all can get stuck on a wall. We live our life off the wall. So, to the window, to the wall. See, a lot of the stupid songs are really cold. So Humpty Dumpty would represent them old rich, 1% elite, fake elite, eating all them pineal glands and children, adrenochrome, okay, thinking they finna get somewhere, and they get stuck in this wall. But they'd rather be on the wall than recycled energy. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, information. I had a vision and saw a black wolf. It showed me a picture of a white bird and a bone were in a chest. Can you help me? Yeah, go decode all those symbols. Go look up what all those symbols mean. Symbolic meaning of black wolf, symbolic meaning of bone, symbolic meaning of chest, symbolic meaning of white bird. White bird is spirit. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's what you got to go look up. The symbolic meaning of, spiritual meaning of, biblical meaning of. That's what you got to search and then insert the word. Okay, so sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, I got my lips done. I said it like 5 times in all the other videos. You like them? Thank you. They're still kind of swollen though. So that's how you decode. The wall is the ionosphere in the sky that your soul can either get through or get stuck in. It's kind of like if you don't have enough energy, just like a rocket ship, to blast through the ionosphere, you're gonna pop like a firecracker and explode, right? If you have just enough to kind of get stuck in the middle, if you didn't ate enough pineal gland and bought enough souls, hitched a ride with Lil Wayne or something, you will stay stuck in the ionosphere as the watchers. They just watch. They just watch people because they can't do anything because they, a lot of the archons are kind of stuck there because they can't go nowhere else. Humpty Dumpty. Okay, now you understand a little bit better. And the beach represents the same thing. That's why they have that Snoop Dogg Corona commercial where he's sitting on the beach. The beach or the sand, it's like right before you get to the cosmic ocean, you have the sand and then you have land. So the sand would represent like the ionosphere. And Snoop Dogg or Anubis, Snoop waits in the ionosphere or in the sand. And if someone tries to get through that doesn't belong there, he chases them and devours their soul, their spirit, whatever. Just like in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. They call them the hounds of hell. The hellhounds or whatever. Anubis, Snoop. He represents the archetype of Anubis in the entertainment industry. Get back off the wall. Death Row Records. Right. Yep, they got Dr. Dre too, y'all. Like his son. They got his son. Now they getting him through this divorce because he wouldn't sell it. He wouldn't make a deal. but he made a deal with Apple and got even richer on his own, and he still wouldn't make a deal. They can't, like, if they can't control you, they'll try to ruin you unless you have protects. Because we got protects, you know, they, Nick Cannon too. If you don't have protection, they'll go after your kids, your loved ones, your money, your legacy, your fortune. So that's why a lot of people fake their death. That's why a lot of people get protection. They go across the ocean. They got to go into other countries to get real protection. I talked about this in another movie. They go to get the real protection. You know what I mean? They go into other countries, to the enemies of the US, and get their own protection. You think I'm playing? This is real chess. They'll go to them countries that got them things, that be pointing at people. I think Jay-Z said it in one of his songs. He got a hands-free, sucker-free. You touch me and you'll be dead in 24 hours. Basically. What's that on? What's free? So he got friends with certain types of weapons. And they don't want that. It's like, if something happened to me, launch it. Period. That is sad, but you got enough money and people like you as a person, you don't even need enough money. I do it for free, please. Just say the word, J, B, Michael, Prince. Say the word. We got you. We got you. Power. That's right. We got you. We got you surrounded, literally. You make enough enemies. If you make enough enemies, if people make enough enemies, they need to be careful who is friending those enemies. Okay, they forgot about that part. They forgot about why you think Michael Jackson was over there in Bahrain all them years. Why you think Rihanna was over there? Why you think Janet was over there? They sent the women in. They sent Michael in to secure those allies. If anything happens to any of us, you know what to do. That's why they want to build a wall. That's not the type of wall they were talking about. Y'all know Trump speaks total code. The wall, what you think the wall, how do you build a wall? In the sky. You build up a wall in the sky. The ionosphere. How would you strengthen it? Who gets stuck there? Who becomes the watchers? That's their punishment. Do y'all remember the story of the Levites in the Bible where they drugged this daughter out on the front porch to rape her, and their punishment was to guard or to stay on the wall or in a field or something like that? Well, that's the ionosphere. The rape was stealing of the melanin. The porch is kind of like the sand and the beach. You're not quite in the house. You're not quite out of the house. You're on the front porch. And the front porch represents the watchers. That's why Beyonce was on the front porch in formation watching. Like, we're up here. We're watching y'all too. Like, we're watching you. Watching you. Akon especially after his African has told us blacks how to feel about slavery. I don't remember what he said. What did it mean when Rihanna places black cubes all around the U.S. oceans? I had a weird dream about cubes. Um, a cube is a planet, a circle. A cube is a planet. Ocean represents the cosmos. Thank you. Hmm. A cube is a planet because there is no such thing as a circle. The sacred geometry that makes up a circle has to bounce off of an angle, which would be a cube. So, you know, so a cube represents a planet. Hmm. Akon is helping the wall. What? Adorable. Hmm. You should see how the United Nations building looks inside. Black cubes installed into ground and goes through the building, and the whole building screams ritual. Who want to visit? Um, the black cube also represents Saturn as a planet. The rings around Saturn is similar to the wall in the sky as well. It's where a lot of energy or souls or spirits get trapped unless they can move in and out of those rings. Um, Akon said, Black people will never be free in America. Never be free. Did he mean free or free? Like, because sometimes they speak code too. Free as in free of charge, or free as in I'm free. Because y'all gotta understand some of the words are double meanings. Right. A lot. Okay, think about what they're doing in Africa now. Think about Bill Gates over there. Think about all the missionaries over there. What you think they're doing over there in Africa? Think they're doing the Lord's work? Okay, it's free over there. Hmm. Over here, it's not free because you got to make deals. They aren't making too many deals over there. It, they're just using white Jesus over there or free vaccines over there. You know, free candy. They go over there with a few dollars and allow people to get vaccinated, sterilized. They give them, fake religion, and they go and they do what they got to do. My dad is Nigerian. Always said we're a feline rebirth family. His mom died a few days before my birth, so I was named after her, Elizabeth. How do I use this info? Just research your name and what it means. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah. Free water from the river, right? The African is trying to reap the fruits of slave labor, so they sold a. Well, I think that's why Akon built his city over there, because at least he could protect that city or advance it and try to, spread knowledge and be an example for the rest of, the surrounding places, maybe. I don't know. But I feel that there's still a lot of parts where they're allowing people to go in there and uh, start churches and give vaccines and stuff, and it's not something that I believe should be allowed. But you don't know how much they're probably paying them or promising them. Because a lot of times it's just a promise and no payments. hmm That's why your name is back to life. Right? He bought solar electricity to a city. Yeah, I heard about that. But y'all know, like, as long the dumber you are, here's the thing: the dumber you are, the more you can be taken advantage of. So they like to keep people stupid and dumb. They like to keep people active and involved in politics, as we call it. They like to keep you active and involved in voting or bowing or worshiping a leader. They like to keep you involved with ritualistic coded visuals that are supposed to spark your emotion. They like to keep you asleep with alcohol, drugs, working so much in your lower self, no discipline, poverty. So they take you to the lowest level that they possibly can, keep you asleep, just barely awake enough to think you have some type of power. And the other side is working the same amount to wake you up at the same time. So we have this side and this side. This side's trying to keep you asleep. This side's trying to wake you up. And a lot of people are so confused and they don't know any codes or they can't read the code, so they don't know which one is true. And the way to determine the truth is to get the code. hmm And people keep like, and here's the thing: so many people are worried about we're never going to be free in America. We're never going to be treated right. That's not even the goal. You see how they gave you all the wrong goal? That's not even the goal. Mhm. Most countries that have two different races that have had a bad history together, don't ever reach that goal. Period. That's not the goal. That's the distraction. Um, I was taught as a Christian that people single out or dislike because people are single out dislike because people see godly spirit in you. Is that the same thing as being a woman? And they using the wrong word still. Um, okay, so you know how people say the Holy Spirit versus the godly spirit? Yeah. Holy is sacred. Godly is, divine, right? Within you. Right. It's the same thing. Yes, you're correct. People have different gifts of understanding. The code Megan sitting getting shot. Do you think this was faked to make her look like she fell in the public law? No, there's code to it. It's straight up code. All of it is code. Feed is code. Her name is code. What she represents is code. The dude's name is code. It's all code. And I didn't really try to decode it yet because it's like I don't care. But um, just look up what feet means. Look up what their names mean. Yeah, horse, you know. Tori means light bringer. Okay, so we got light bringer. Next, what is lane? I was saying Linnaeus one time. Lanes. What does lanes mean? Path. So light bringer path. Next, let me get my paper. Light bringer paths. All right. So light bringer paths. Gamma ray, cosmic ray. They go in a path, right? Okay. Megan. What's Megan mean? Somebody tell me what Megan. Megan means strong. Okay, strong. V. Okay, stallion. A strong horse. Okay. What's a horse? A horse is a horse, of course, of course. A horse is a course. Okay. Course. A course is a what? A direction. A chariot. Exactly. See? You getting it? So she got shot in the foot. Tell me what the foot means. You said the whole thing is about the chakras. Yep. Pisces equals foot. That's one aspect. Yeah. What else does feet mean? Remember when they was washing Jesus' feet? The cleansing of the foot, the cleaning of the feet with the hair. Y'all remember when Mary cleaned Jesus' feet with her hair? The upper and the lower becoming one. So a gun. Let's see what a gun represents. A gun represents also gang, gamma ray, the rocket, like so that shot her in the foot or the phallus. You said the phallus, yep. So the foot represents also the lower nature. When you see the yoga drawing of like the little person meditating and their feet are folded and the red root chakra is at the foot because you have your feet folded, that was code for your lower chakra, so your root chakra. So he activated her root chakra. And then right after that, WAP comes out, WAP comes out. There you go. So maybe that's why people got feet fetish. I don't know, I'm crazy, but okay. So the feet also represent the root chakra or the lower chakra. And she got shot in there, which means they got activated. And then she comes out with Cardi B, which is the heart, and comes out with WAP. And it went to the top. And there you go, the code. Once again. When your root chakra is activated, it's almost as if, that's the sexual thing. It's your creativity. And so that's why this song she was on was WAP. And y'all know what WAP means. WAP, with AP, And she was on there with Cardi. Cardi is the heart. Cardi, cardiac arrest. Cardi B. Okay, so right after that, her WAP with song with Cardi B came out, and it went straight to the top. Right? And then they put it as a trend on TikTok. So there you go. Most people, most people, would only see the negative aspects of things because they're very emotional about stuff. They get caught up in the emotion of things instead of the information of things. So you gotta decode stuff and not really let the distractions of, you know, it's kind of like watching a play and trying to understand the deeper meaning of a play, but you have someone who's emotionally affected by, a character in a play getting shot or how they're acting, you're taking it too personally and too seriously and you care too much, and it's you forgot that you're not in a play, and you forgot that it's not even a play. You think it's real now because you've been there so long, and you kind of, you forgot, and so you take everything emotionally. And so when you see things, you can't really, it's hard for you to see the truth in it because you got caught up in it. So when you start to decode, you can separate yourself from it once again, and you can see the code and see the message. So the reversal of the chakras, yes. The shift, the reversal of the chakras, the pole shift. It also talks about that in that book, the pole shift, how many times the poles have shifted and how many times they're going to keep shifting. The Pisces age never ends, just so y'all know. Have you noticed we've been in the age of Aquarius for a very long, the age of Pisces for a very long time, and people can't figure out when the age of Aquarius is ever going to start? Do you know why we're in the age of Pisces forever? Because it's a loop. It's a time loop. That's why the fish swim in a circle. And in this book, Through the Looking Glass, Alice always asks, why is every poem about fishes? Why is every poem that I've heard today about fishes? Every poem I've heard is about fishes today. She asked the queens. And the queens started talking about fishes again. They never told her why, because she's in a time loop. So we supposed to have been in the age of Aquarius decades ago. We ain't never got there because we're in a time loop. And we'll never get there. You know why we'll never get there? We'll never get to the age of Aquarius. I'm sorry. We stuck here. You must follow the man carrying the pitcher of water in order to enter into the age of Aquarius. That's what it says in the Bible. That's what Jesus told them people at the Last Supper. Follow the man with the pitcher of water. Follow the man with the jug of water, whatever he said. Who has the water? Thank you, Camellia. Sprinkle, sprinkle. If you don't follow the man with the water, you can never enter into the age of Aquarius. We are water, pure as water, like a newborn daughter. Kanye tried to get all holy and put that truth out. We don't know. We know. Maybe he feels like it's an exchange. If I get this famous and this rich, but I can promote some truth and some hidden truth, maybe it'll be all worth it. That's why I don't judge Kanye. Because it could be a trick. We never know. That's what I'm saying. Can you do a shout out to your rap group, Henny Money Mafia? Shout out Henny Money Mafia. Hey, sprinkle, sprinkle. So we will never reach the age of Aquarius until we follow the water bearer into the next house. That's the body. The house is a body. The water bearer is someone who bears melanin. Until we enter and follow the water bearer into the next house, we will never enter the age of Aquarius. We're stuck here until everybody mixes. So everybody keeps saying, "Oh, it's gonna be in the age of the Aquarius." No, you're not. Right? You said water is spirit, souls, inner. Water is. Think about where water comes from. It comes from the cosmos originally, from ice melting off of comets and whatever. Comes from darkness. Water, break down water in the molecules. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Water is a state. Thank you, Harriet. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You have ice, which is solid. You have liquid, which is the water. You have gas. Then you have plasma. Plasma is like lightning. Then you take lightning and you give that even more energy. It comes a cosmic ray or gamma ray. Yes. Then that gamma ray can become a cosmic ray. That cosmic ray can become dark energy. You see? That's what water is. The medium to the afterlife. So the world must look like all the Kardashian kids first. And if you want to enter into the age of Aquarius, if you want to move on out of the time loop, the world has to move forward as one. Not one, we get along, no, but one, literally. One type of people, period. I mean, look at aliens. You know, you ever see an alien movie? All them aliens look the same. They got advanced technology. You can't tell them apart. New world order? A whole new world. A dazzling place I never knew. Because I was stuck in a time loop. No one to tell us no or where to go. Because we're all the same. Because, or say we're hardly dreaming. Right. Speaking of energy, Aquarius never said the age was about. I'm talking to each other. So everybody thinks New World Order is a bad thing. Depending on your definition of it. Because if you read the Bible, doesn't it talk about a new world in the Bible? I have a lot of information up on my Patreon that will teach you how to decode. I have videos up there that explain in detail. I have several books. I have all the alchemy books up there that I always suggest in PDF form. So you're really getting a lot of good stuff. What do I think? What sign do you think rule over LGBT? What sign? I don't know what sign. She said rainbow sign. silly. Ashir, do you teach how to decode? Yeah, I have all the videos up there that aren't available on YouTube. Yeah, there's a couple of videos on decoding in there. I break down, I type out stuff like in articles. I have pictures. I do word. This word means this. I break it down so you can see it. And a lot of things, I use different examples. And once you look at those type of examples, you'll know how to apply it to other things to decode other things. I show you how I do it, like on paper or on screen, typed out, and on the video. Okay, I bought the decoding books you recommended. They are great. Thank you. Sprinkle. Pisces equals no boundaries, so it's not straight. Pisces represents fluidity. Um, Sure, could you break down what we have to do as a people to transition to this utopia? You gotta change the world. I can be the sunlight in your universe. Y'all remember that Eric Clapton and Babyface song from that? Yeah. If I could be king, even for that song is totally coded. It's about you melanating the world. Everybody gotta get some melanin. The world must mix in order to get to the next frequency. It's like eventually that's what's gonna happen anyway, and everybody's gonna be brown. It's just a matter of time, and people either for it or against it. You know, why do you think like a lot of people are trying to send? Oh, the refugees from this country. Oh, we'll let you in. Come over here. They come in. You know, a lot of the refugees from Syria, or they came over here, and some stayed. Some had kids. Some had black husbands. Some got some melanin. Oh, we're gonna send our troops over there. Okay, some of them troops got them women pregnant over there. They're doing it strategically. Let's make rap music and hip hop popular. So all women will throw themselves at them, have these babies. Oh, let's open the border. Let's let you know the Mexicans and the Guatemalans only come through. So they're doing it, but strategically, unconsciously, it's just being done. But if people were to speed it up, and I think that's what they're doing by pushing a lot of like stuff in the media and on TV, they're pushing that agenda so that they can speed it up. hmm Does my cat help me in any way? Yes, of course. Mhm. My cat has high vibrations. Do you believe in higher power outside of ourselves? Yeah, I believe that there is an infinite source that is one and that we are all a part of it. Yeah. But I don't believe that it's like some type of domineering um, God that points fingers. I think it's like a thought or consciousness or whatever. It's kind of like, it's like, just pretend I'm a stomach. I'm a stomach and I'm hungry and I want food. As a stomach inside of a human body, I don't go out and get food from the grocery store. I have to send a signal, a vibration. I have to send a alert from pain, hunger pain through my spine up into my brain, into my neuron. And when my brain gets the message, or when the universe or the cosmos gets the message that I'm hungry, it will take steps to bring it food. And when the stomach receives the food, the stomach says, "Oh, my manifestation came true." The stomach then only had to quiver and contract, had to move, had to get up, and had to have some action, had to push that pain from hunger up into the brain, just like we manifest up into the universe. And so that's what I feel. Yeah. Now that Babyface song is stuck in my head. Go listen to it. And so the thing about the stomach is like people that are having problems manifesting, that's almost like denying yourself. Um, it's almost like telling yourself you're not hungry. When you say negative thoughts, well, I don't deserve that, or that's never going to happen, or that's impossible. It's kind of like tricking your mind to tell yourself that you're not hungry, so that no matter how many hunger pains your stomach try to produce, your mind or your brain will suppress it. The universe will suppress it and stop it because you're manifesting to not be hungry. I don't need any food. I don't want any food. So it works both ways. So if you say, I'm hungry, I wish somebody bring me some food. I'm starving. I need some food, 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 food. Your stomach is going to feel free to send those hunger pains. And your brain is going to get it. And then you're going to go walk to the refrigerator or wherever and get you some food and eat it. But if you're thinking the opposite, I'm not hungry, you're not hungry, you ain't hungry, you don't need that, you don't need them extra calories, then your mind is going to start to follow that. The universe is going to start to follow that. And before you know it, you're not hungry anymore. The pain is gone. It's not even coming back until you think about it again. And so when you manifest, you cannot be doubtful because you're sending the opposite request. You're sending the opposite notification. And so there's a lot of negative thinkers out there who don't understand this. And this is the best way to explain it to them as a stomach. Yeah. Because they don't understand how worrying and thinking about all the negative things that could happen, that haven't happened, that might not ever happen, instead of stressing out about those and sending signals and images to the universe or to the brain, then that's what's going to you're gonna get. Mm-hmm. Who who world do they control? What world? What could be good about the new world order created by the people currently controlling the world? You mean the same people that's been controlling the world? Ah, here's the thing everybody doesn't understand. It's a chess game. In order to move on to a new game, you got to pass this game. You got to finish this game. The only way this game could be finished is if there's no more pieces on the board, right? Until there's a checkmate, until there's one left, until they get the king. The king is the soul. Remember that? Until you get a soul, until you capture the king, until you checkmate it, until you get a soul, you can't finish the game. So, King is synonymous with soul, or black. Black is synonymous with soul. You melanin is your soul. Yes, your energy, your soul energy. So unless you get black, unless you capture the king, you can't go nowhere. Yeah. He said, "Is James a Christian?" James is more spiritual than religious. Why can't blacks leave on their own? Because you got to take your children with you, baby. You got to take your children. Give your children, girl. You got to take your children with you. Okay? You can't leave until you take your kids. Come on, you can't leave. You can't leave your children behind. That is irresponsible. Um, girl, you trying to abandon your kids, your bad kids, baby's kids, but you got to take them. That's what they won't let us. Uh, Yeah, like you gotta look at it like this. Like if you look at it from a certain point of view, you understand why you gotta take your kids with you. You had all these kids, and take them. You're trying to sneak out, leave your bad kids over here. You better take them kids. Really, you absorb them back into yourself through generation after generation. Till everybody's on the same accord. The family feud. Okay, no one wins when the family feud. You gotta take them back. No one wins when the family feuds. So you got to take them back in. You said James couldn't be a Christian married to me. He sure couldn't. He be trying to exercise me with some crosses and holy water, and I be trying to tell him what it means. You know that cross just means ionosphere, and you got to cross, get across, and you can't do it. And you know what that holy water is? That's Melanin. People could not exercise me because I'd be decoding the tools. You know what that Bible verse means, right? Go ahead and throw it on me if you want to. I already got Melanin. I ain't gonna do nothing. All right. Okay, whatever. Ah, you would hate to be Christian and married to you? I really wouldn't even bother anybody. If they had their beliefs, they probably wouldn't have married me. A good Christian man wouldn't be out there with me, I believe me. So you already knew. He wasn't no good Christian. He was just Christian by association. Y'all know. Y'all know them types. I did throw up. I had a whole fever when they tried to baptize me. Yes. Because it was backwards and wrong and I knew it. Mhm. It's like I'm supposed to baptize you. You ain't supposed to baptize me. Like on the Travis Scott video. Why is youth and feminine energy so precious and important together? Because it's the mother and child aspect. It's the strongest vibration, period. The bond between mother and child is the strongest love, and love is the highest frequency, especially when it's synonymous with you melanin. Was I Catholic? My mom was Catholic. Her mom was Catholic. Nobody was really Catholic. They was just passed down, and they didn't understand, but they just did what they wanted, what they had to do. So nobody was really, no one really chose their religion. They were just given it. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're able to choose your religion, you're really not that religion. That's how I feel. Unless you're able to choose your spiritual path, that is not your spiritual path. That is what was given to you and forced upon you. So I would never claim religion if I did not ask to be a part of it or seek it out for myself. I would call it forced religion. It's not something that I would accept, you know. So I would never accept religion if I did not seek it out for myself. That's that Louisiana heritage, sure is. Mm-hmm. You got baptized before you were old enough to understand it. Yeah, that's why I would never do that to my kids ever. Mm-hmm. It's important to choose for yourself. That's so true. I would never force nothing on my kids. Remember the gay man that says that I'm straight now and that he was baptized in a church? I don't like men's anymore. He been delivered. You mean delivered? Yeah, he was been delivered. Okay, anyway. I think that's also why they say it's a sin. But like, okay, they say it's a sin, but it's not in the Ten Commandments because that's not the same thing as what a sin is. People confuse the Ten Commandments with sins. That's not a sin. That's just like the laws of Ma'at. A sin is something that was done because you were without the knowledge of how to decode those things. From when that knowledge was stolen from ancient Kemet, and it was a metaphor for genealogy and genetic engineering, but you took it as literal and tried to perform the things and the acts literally when it was all science. So that's what they mean by sin. You were taught by someone without knowledge. That was a sin. Without. Sin means without. It also represents the moon or pale like the moon. You were taught by the sinners. You see? So if the sinner was your only teacher and no one else was around to teach you, and that's what you learned everything backwards, including so many things, what to eat, what not to eat. A lot of stuff that people eat on a daily basis was taken from ancient Kemet and misunderstood, and now we eat stuff that we shouldn't even be eating because it was code for genetics or code for something, and we sitting up here eating. That would be like, how people frown upon people that eat cats in Egypt. Eat cats in China and stuff. Like, ooh, you eat cat. Ooh, you eat dog. Okay, a lot of people will say that like about pork. Right? Ooh, you eat pig. Ooh, you eat that. So, you was baptized 3 times and still kicked out of church for discovering the pastor's secrets. What's the secrets, girl? They got a lot of secrets. I was one of a pastor's secrets a couple times. I was the secret. Girl, they got some secrets, don't they? They be paying people off with them building funds too. That's why they have to pass the plate around 3 times. They got to pay people off and have their own like helicopters and cars and their mistresses and their boyfriends or whatever. They got a lot of secrets. They got to pay people too. So that's why they pass that collection basket around a few times. Okay. You could see me front row with my big hat and thing. I didn't even have to sit down. I didn't even have to be a parishioner. Because I tell them straight up, I don't go to church. I didn't even have to pretend because they don't care. Good, that's all the better. It's like, I don't go to church. I don't believe in that stuff. Only to decode it or something. It's funny when you could tell a pastor you don't believe in that stuff and they still be like after you. It's like, because they don't care. I don't care. I believe in that building fund. Sprinkle, sprinkle. They love a non-church going woman, right? Y'all think I'm playing. A lot of those pastors and whatever, they don't care. They just in there for the money. Just like what most people are. A real pastor would decode the Bible for their parishioners and tell them the truth. But you can't make money off of them after you've told them a few things. But wait, so this is not the house of the Lord? And he ain't coming back? And we supposed to do what? Ooh, this too much. Okay. Gotta go to church and vote. I would never go to church in the capacity of seeking spiritual knowledge. I would never vote again for anybody. Because then that would mean, unless somebody paying me and I know why I'm doing it, but I would just write my name on the ballot, so I would vote for myself. I would go to church to collect some of that building fund, but that's about it. I would never go for the mundane reason or vote for the mundane reason. Why do you hate Freemasons? I don't hate Freemasons. Why? Who said I hated Freemasons? I don't hate anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't hate anybody. What? Mm-hmm. You know why you can't hate anybody? I'll tell you the real reason why. It's dumb to hate people. Does your liver hate your stomach? Does your mitochondrial DNA hate your RNA? The only time your body unifies is when there's an outside influence or a virus that is going to attack it. Then all of your antibodies and stuff start trying to fight. Your white blood cells and stuff get together and they try to fight the invader or the virus or the alien. That has entered into your body. They may have different functions and all that kind of stuff, but when you die, when you die or when you transcend to the next level, you no longer have all those things. You're just one energy. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to talk about my issues without seeing this first part of the video. I just wanted advice about how to get people to wake up. I love you, Shira. I am so glad. Sometimes it takes something that they're very interested in, that they seek out, and it ends up waking them up. Like, when they're very passionate about something and they seek knowledge about it, it could lead to them waking up, but you can't push it on people because that's not their passion. Whatever pushed you to waking up might not be their passion. So I say the passion of the Christ is what the Christos or the Christos beings or the Christos people, your passion will lead you to your awakening. So whatever your passion is, people have passionate for writing, people have a passion for art, people have a passion for teaching, reading, whatever. So whatever your passion is, whatever keeps you seeking knowledge will awaken you. Do I trust anybody? With my life? With my actual literal life? Who could I put the, no, I don't trust anybody with my life. Not 100% anyway. I don't even trust myself with my life. Don't you do stupid stuff that's dangerous every once in a while? That you could die? I trust enough to function. I don't know. That's a trick question. I don't trust enough to function. You said no more call-ins? For what? What y'all gonna talk? What do y'all want to ask me? I trust that cash app, that cha-ching. Yeah. Y'all silly. Write your questions. Mm-hmm. Y'all know I'm too impatient for call-ins. I'm like rolling my eyes and y'all will see me and like somebody gonna try to tell me about their long dream that I'm not paying attention to. Somebody gonna ask me about a soulmate. Like we all soulmates. You know, I'd rather not let you see me roll my eyes. Okay. Did I pledge? Pledge what? Do I look like I pledged? I don't pledge allegiance. I don't pledge sororities. I don't pledge nothing. Okay. The only thing I pledge is my wood table to keep the dust away. Y'all know why. You only pledge to God. God don't ask you to pledge. Mhm. When did you know you were a goddess? When I was born? Huh? Hmm. When I became conscious of the world around me, I just knew. I already knew. Kids know. Kids know. You would have to ask an adult. But kids know that they're divine. Period. It's the adults that tell them that they're not. So I always knew, and I didn't believe adults. They was all dumb. Who's your twin flame? The man in the mirror, baby. How to keep the dusties away. Pledge, you'll use pledge and the dust mop. Ready? Mm-hmm. What do you think about period blood magic? This is blood magic with stem cells in it. What the heck? They put that in your food. They put stem cells in vaccines. They put it in your food. So it's the same thing. They're doing the same thing. Sprinkle, sprinkle on everybody in certain foods. We put stem cells in certain skincare products. So that's all it really is. Your blood and your stem cells. You still do a lot of magic. Magic is basically code for science and manifesting. If science and manifesting had a code, it would be magic. You know what I'm saying? It's the code for science. Just like religion is the code for science, so is magic. I said all those things are the same. Magic, alchemy, religion, science is all the same. It's just coded differently. You know? Can I decode a man with 2 wives versus a woman with 2 husbands? One broke and one rich. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The woman with the 2 husbands probably have money. She got 2 grown men working. And since they pay men more than they pay women, and they're dumb enough to share a woman, they probably are seeking some type of weird alternative lifestyle. So usually those kind of people are paid more and they don't really know what to do with their free time anymore. So the guy with the 2 wives probably broke, got a record, can't rent no apartment. So he got to live off of 2 women. And while one at work, the other one got to stay home and watch out the children. And they have to switch shifts. And the man thinks he running stuff, but really he just need a place to stay. So there you go. There's my interpretation. Yeah, Sasha can definitely decode. Layla knows how to decode a little bit too. Mm-hmm. Why y'all laughing? It's true. Y'all know the only reason that somebody wants 2 wives is because the other one credit got bad and they need some new credit. Especially if they're broke. If you're rich, okay, obviously you can afford 2 wives. That's just decent because in America, since you can't really marry to most guys go get a mistress if they got like money like that. But like in some cultures, they allow you to have more than 1 wife because you can afford it. But them dusty polygamists basically have a record and ruin the other one's credit, so they gotta recruit another woman to ruin her credit. Tell me I'm lying. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Y'all know that's what they doing. We need another wife. What? You want another wife? Girl, your credit bad. We need some more credit. Okay, you right. That's how a lot of these women become okay with it. You can open credit cards for them. It's for the family. You must provide. They'll just go get some weak-minded woman with low self-esteem and recruit her credit. Recruit her. Okay? Their credit ain't right either. Well, they'll find out the hard way. Anyway, I'm sorry. I I, I live in my imagination sometimes. It's real. What's the best advice to a woman who is low but wants to gain her wishes and dreams? When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. When your heart is in your dreams, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, dreams come true. You know what a star is? I'm a star boy. I'm a star girl. I'm a star goddess. Um, a dream is a wish that your heart makes. You're the star. Look inside. Talk to the reflection in the mirror. That's right. Mm-hmm. When am I putting out my album? Never. But y'all want a Christmas album and me make up songs that decode the real song? Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul, running here and there and everywhere just to catch something down through the chimney. Or was that something else? I'm getting all the lyrics mixed up. Anyway, y'all know who Frosty the Snowman was. A Lemonade album, right? Y'all don't know who Frosty was? Come on, man. Go watch Frosty the Snowman cartoon. It's so coded that you'll know who Frosty. The magician makes him. The magician has a black hat, a magic wand. So he's a genetic experiment because the magician makes him. He puts uh, he makes his face. He puts like the coals on him. He puts a scarf around his neck and gives him a black hat and a pipe. Those are all codes. And then when the sun come out and it get hot, he melts and goes away and come back again. Come back again someday. Turns into water. Snow turned into water. He went from solid to liquid to gas, probably to plasma. He'll be back, maybe. You have to turn into water first, though. What's the star song? Starboy by The Weeknd? Or When You Wish Upon a Star? The Disney song. I found out Shrek was an Olmec ancestor today. I remember when Sasha was little, she had a crush on Shrek. Don't ask me why. Shrek was her boyfriend, and when Sasha was a little girl in like kindergarten, Shrek was her boyfriend. Strange child. Okay. That's cute, huh? I said, why do you like Shrek though? Because I just like him. But why? Because I don't know. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna ask. I'm not gonna ask anymore. You just like Shrek, okay? Why did I stop drinking alcohol? You're 5 months sober after a few years of drinking and toxic relationships. I stopped more for health. Like alcohol is really bad for the pH of your body. It also makes you age faster, and it also lowers your immune system. So I stopped because I did not want my immune system lowered on top of 5G, on top of solar radiation, on top of cosmic rays hitting the earth, on top of now coronavirus. So I'm glad I stopped. So I stopped because I knew something was on the way or in the works. Mhm. You stop when you know something's on the way. Otherwise, I would have still been drinking. Thank you, Dark Magician. Thank you for sharing light and your wisdom. These things are all too rare in our society today. We all must reach for enlightenment while we still can. Namaste, sprinkle, sprinkle. So, watch those. I'm almost done, y'all. Watch those T-Mobile commercials where all the 5G is being spread and why they're using pink to spread it. Y'all know that's the covering, the the color of the divine feminine, the return of the divine feminine, the Mary, the Oya, whatever. Um, so that 5G, they're spreading it everywhere. They're putting it in every phone now. Every new phone that come out is 5G, mostly, unless you're getting them old flip phones. The network is spreading further and further, and the range is getting wider and wider. We're still constantly being bombarded with cosmic rays and gamma rays. Still, that haven't stopped yet either. The sun is getting hot, or the earth is getting hotter from within as well as without, from the outside. So if you combine all of these with alcohol and coronavirus, it's not a good combination. Okay. So I did it because there was too much stuff coming against you or coming against us. And that's a way to preserve yourself. Um, it's a way to preserve your health and your immune system. Hmm. We're about to get a solar storm. Hmm. Um, Stay inside. You stay inside, and it's enjoyable. It's your one vice. Yep, that's a killer vice, though. Look up alcohol and alchemy. The warnings come. Those who listen, those with ears, will hear, and this is not a test. Warning: this is not a test. Remember, think about the most. Think about this: the most disciplined religion does not allow alcohol. Think about why. Mhm. We already know the dangers of alcohol. But I'm trying to find the alchemical. It attracts bad spirits. The root of the word comes from, derived from Arabic, akul, which means body eating spirit. Body eating spirit, and gives root origins to the English term ghoul. According to the writer Jason Christoph, alcohol is used to extract the soul essence of an entity. Yeah, I ain't getting my soul, baby. Oh, my soul. Mhm. So, the alchemists who created it to extract the soul. Um, I'm going back to it. And take it from me. I've taken all of it. I'm trying to find it. Passage. Okay. The spirit of alcohol is an antidote. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Magic of alcohol. There's lots of articles about alcohol, but that's where it first came from. Body eating spirit, ghoul. There you go. It also lowers your immune system. Okay. Mhm. Suggestions on ways to quit. It's easy to quit when you replace it with something. So replace it with something that you like or that's healthier. Um, my phase 1 and 2 elixirs help a lot of people stop drinking and doing drugs. So that's what they've told me. I think it's because it gives you a sense of well-being naturally, and it also motivates you to do things that you can't do while drinking or do while drunk. Um, so motivates you to do better things for yourself. Mm. So I think either replace it with something else, like a green tea, or some wheatgrass, or some hot chocolate or something. Child, I don't know. Some coffee. Someone says CBD oil. Yes. Um, kombucha that still has alcohol in it though. Jogging. Someone says warm cup of CBD tea. Something. Hmm. Because like alcohol can be good or bad, depends on uses. Yeah. But a lot of people abuse it. So if you're abusing it, or if you drink too much, or you know who you are if you do that. Definitely reduce it by a lot, and I mean a lot. Like if it were me and I just couldn't give up the drink, I would definitely only drink once a week, maybe 3 glasses tops of wine, no liquor or beer, but that be it. No more than 3 once a week, because y'all don't really understand what's about to go down. It's the purge, literally. And if you stuck somewhere drunk drinking, you could be the next. Coronavirus got people that were in bad health, who got, had diabetes and underlying health causes. Okay. A lot of the COVID victims were them. What do you think is the next purge, the next go round? Yeah, they got rid of all the underlying causes, people. Okay, now what's left? The youth and the people that are in decent health. You still don't have anything, chronically wrong with you. Or if you do, you're still strong enough to stay here and not get sick. But what's the next round? And with the increased 5G. And so you have a body eating spirit, and it's destroying the pH balance of your body, plus 5G, which basically kills a lot of your oxygen producing cells. Some people, not all people, but a lot of people. And if your immune system is already low, it's double trouble. So remember, every day there are things in your environment that you can't see that are actively, daily, lowering your immune system. So if you're not building your immune system, you can't stay even with a normal immune system. You see what I'm saying? If you are not building your immune system, then it's being destroyed. You can't just walk around and say, "Oh, I have a regular good immune system. I'm good." If you're not building your immune system, it is being destroyed. So you have to constantly build it, and alcohol tears it down. I used to love to drink. I love wine. I love tequila. But I know what's going on. So I'm not getting ready to sacrifice myself. There. I've drank enough to for 2 lifetimes. I'm good. I know what it feels like that to drink. It was nice and lovely. But I've experienced it, so I don't have to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. Okay. It's harder for younger people. All they know is toxic life. Yeah, that's true. Um, that's why you need a lot of people need to find something to take their mind off of that and maybe get into something that's more positive. Like a lot of people, when a lot of people get married and settle down and have kids, their drinking falls off. You know, less they might have a glass of wine every now and then. But when you get more responsibilities and stuff like that, your drinking falls off. So try to find something you can put yourself into. It could be a hobby or whatever, but find something else to do. People ask me what's about to go down. Nothing. Remember, brick by brick. People are always looking for these giant events. It might come every once in a while, but what comes after the giant events are also, smaller things until another giant event. Right now, the little things in between are the 5G and the very hot temperatures and, constantly lowering your immune. Now it's COVID plus 5G plus that plus other stuff. They're going to keep turning it up and broadening because remember ancient Egypt, they had free flowing electricity. And that's what we're going back to. And so they have to turn it up slowly and broaden the range slowly. And it's going to kill off a lot of people that are not able to withstand it because of lower immune systems and frequencies. So they're doing it slowly so that people have time to adjust. And they're pushing, that agenda for everybody to rise. up in frequency, because the more you rise in your frequency, or the more you melanin that people get as a whole, nation, the more technology we can have. So that's another reason why this is the age of Aquarius. You can't enter into the age of Aquarius until everybody is mixed. It's because you need melanin in order to use certain technology. You you can't use certain technology if you don't have melanin, because of the radiation. It will kill you. We know radiation kills people, but if you have enough melanin to absorb that radiation, then you're good. And so you can't even have all that futuristic technology that you see in the movies, because the radiation would kill you. And so you need something to absorb it. They're working on melanin suits right now, and melanin, helmets, and melanin hats, and melanin batteries, and melanin everything. Just get some melanin. You know what I'm saying? So they said Atlantean. That's right. You gotta have it. You have to have that level of frequency in order to have that Wakanda technology. So, and they know it's a race. Once that technology info is released, we just don't have it. Other people get it too. Everywhere around the world, people are going to get similar technology and information. And whoever is able to wield it the fastest, because they have the most melanin and they're able to get their stuff up and running, that's who probably is going to lead. So that's why America is pushing their agenda, because they want that technology and they want to rise to the age of Aquarius. Mm-hmm. The elixir's on my Etsy store, Dark Realm. It's in the description bar below, and it's also on my community section, or in my about section on YouTube, on my channel page. Just click about, and all my little stores will pop up on my and also it's in the description bar. It's not sad. Train your thoughts. Yeah, it's not really sad. It's like going to the next level. So if, like, a lot of elites know this, a lot of people know this already. It's not sad. Change is change. Okay, so the next level is the raising the technology, and you have to be healthy in order to live inside where all this technology is going on. You got to be basically plant-based, high frequency, no like vices that are going to lower your immune system, because they're turning it up every day. So just think about that. Melanite battery technology is popping up everywhere, right? The Jetsons are here. So of course, they're using those melanins to make batteries and technology and stuff. What do you think? Eventually people are going to want to be part of that naturally. You said we are being harvested. It wouldn't make sense. It's kind of like, y'all remember that it wouldn't make sense to take all the trees. You can't take the trees and not plant a tree. And I just had a funny analogy, but it's probably it's like killing people to get fake tan instead of just mixing. It's like, no, we don't want to mix with you. This will kill you and steal your stuff and make batteries and medication stuff. Right. But YouTube is very censored right now. So if you type in bad words, it probably will be censored. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go. But thank y'all for watching. Sorry this was so long. People keep asking questions. I guess new people are probably in. So, yep, everything is code. You already know that. Now what? Teach it, learn it, do something about it, understand the goals. My Patreon does break down a lot of stuff biblically, stuff in pop culture. I have a few videos on there that explains and gives examples and has a few books. I have PDF files of a lot of different esoteric and occult books on the Patreon for free. You have access to those books when you join. A lot of people just join, to get the information. And if you want to stay and contribute, there's also places where y'all can post too, and ask questions and stuff like that. But it's more for just a learning thing. There's no promised things every month or week. It's just whenever I get a bunch of information, I'll go and put it there. And you can see how I break stuff down, and there's a bunch of books. So if you can't afford books or whatnot, there's a whole library in there. In PDF format. When you say bad words, yeah, so like y'all know YouTube censor stuff. Like, I don't know why they just do. I think white people is being, I'll have to approve it. Yeah. It's like, do you want this to go through? It sounds bad. Thank you, L Rain, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Good night. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. I appreciate that. You so ready for the Wakanda future? High tech. Wakanda. It's gonna be like Wakanda. I think that's what Akon trying to build. He's trying to build a Wakanda. But no, seriously, that's what they're trying to get to. So it is what it is. Peace and abundance, lovely. Thank you. What's the site for PDF? Decode with Ashira. That's my Patreon. I think it's linked below too, but if not, just go to Patreon, the website Patreon, and type in Decode with Ashira or Decoding with Ashira or something like that, and it'll pop up. Y'all can also I was thinking about sharing making some decoding videos and sharing it. But I don't know, because it's like a lot of work. I think people can catch on if they do it live and see how it's a lot of the ancient stories that you're gonna need to understand code. If you want to save time, energy, and money, the best way to get a lot of those ancient stories, like the Olmecs, the Inky and Lil story, the ancient Kemetic stories, the best way to get those is through Forbidden Knowledge TV, which is also, I have linked below. If you join that, it's like a Netflix type thing with all the videos of like all those things that they don't really teach you. You get that background information, you'll see so much code just by getting that information. You'll see similarities in stories here and movies there. That's just like the Inky and Lil story. That's just like the Jesus story. All these stories are basically the same. You'll start to put everything together. You'll start to piece everything together. So if y'all have heard of like Billy Carson, this is his Forbidden Knowledge TV platforms, kind of like a spiritual Netflix. I have a few videos on there that's not on YouTube, but it's cheaper than Netflix. I think you get a free 3-day trial if you sign up, and that is listed below as well. Forbidden Knowledge TV. Use that link, and it'll get you to the free trial, and you can watch as many videos as you want for 3 days for free. Once you start learning, like I said, you're gonna feel like your IQ went up like 1,000 points. You'll be addicted. If I get on Forbidden Knowledge TV, let me tell y'all, if I get on Forbidden Knowledge TV and start listening to a lot of that stuff, I'll be stuck on there for hours. I will have a notebook and I will keep writing, and I will start researching something, and I will come up with like this whole new thing to teach, and I'll be on here, for 5 more hours. So, but with new information and crazy stuff. So, if you are a true seeker of knowledge and you have a lot of free time to get sucked into researching, Forbidden Knowledge TV will give you that knowledge. Yes. Thank you. Another new addiction. I know. I let my kids listen to it too, and they like what they're learning. It's like this is a great way to teach your kids stuff. Like a lot of people don't know how to introduce their kids to this information. Well, these videos, some of them have like very interesting things for kids, and very interesting knowledge that your children will listen to, because it's like stuff that they probably never heard. And a lot of people don't know how to teach kids this type of stuff. Just their Forbidden Knowledge TV, log on, let them navigate through it, press play on whatever looks interesting to them, and let them go. They have documentaries, travel. They have the ancient stories, the ancient Egyptian mystery schools. They got cooking shows on there, workout shows. They got what else? Meditations, affirmations. So it's like all in one place. What else do they have on there? Seminars. You know how like sometimes those like people like Billy Carson and like Dr. Phil Valentine and all them, they having those like seminars and stuff. Well, a lot of those are recorded there, put on Forbidden Knowledge TV. So you have like an entire library of knowledge, instead of having to seek years and years and years and get the backstories, and you know it's all there. There's whole videos about gamma rays, cosmic rays, and that explains how they're bombarding the earth. A lot of stuff. It's just when you get off of there, your IQ will have raised at least 5 points. Okay. All right. I'll see y'all later. Bye. You said the bot is telling me to get off. Yeah, because he got to go to sleep. Bye.